Chapter 895. Luo Dongqing and the other school leaders were sitting in the stands. When they saw Qin Haodong take out the oven, they didn't know what it was. They thought to themselves, what is this guy going to do? Xiao Jian sneered, it seems that this guy is nervous. He took out his magic weapon as soon as he came up. According to the rules of the competition, everyone was free to use weapons and magic weapons as long as no one was killed. Murong Jinghong frowned. What kind of magic weapon was this? He had never seen it before. They didn't know what it was, and the contestants on the stage didn't know what kind of magic weapon it was. Seeing him suddenly take out such a big thing, they were nervous and stepped back. At this moment, some people began to take action, taking the opportunity to attack. Monkey steals peach, fishing for the moon. For a moment, the whole martial arts field was in chaos. However, these people had their own sense of propriety. They all kept a distance from Qin Haodong and the other two. No one dared to take a step closer. After all, most of them were in the divine transformation realm. They would not provoke these people unless they had to. The little witch came to Qin Haodong and asked curiously, "Little brother, what are you going to do?" Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Anyway, it's boring to stay here. Let's make something delicious." Okay. Okay. I love delicious food. The little witch couldn't help but stick out her tongue and lick her delicate red lips, swallowing hard. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Qin Haodong took out the lamb skewers and chicken wings that he had prepared earlier from the storage ring and put them on the oven. Then he used Dan fire to ignite the charcoal in the oven. What is this guy doing? Isn't this the competition site? Why is he grilling chicken wings? The one who spoke was another vice president sitting next to Luo Dongqing, Hai Jingming. Luo Dongqing said, "Who cares? Anyway, our rules don't prohibit barbecue. He can do whatever he wants." Fang Qiong'er was surprised at first, then she smelled the aroma of barbecue. She couldn't help but sniff and said, "It smells so good." Yun Qianqian said, "Dr. Qin's cooking is as good as his medical skills. I will never forget his cooking for the rest of my life. It looks really delicious." Fang Qiong'er stared at the golden chicken wings in Qin Haodong's hand and couldn't help but swallow. She didn't look like the ice goddess at all. If it wasn't for the fact that they were in the middle of a competition and forbade others from entering the arena, she would have already rushed in. This won't do. Senior brother actually has such good culinary skills. When I have time, I must go to his place and have a feast. Yun Qianqian chimed in, "I'll go too." Seeing the scene in front of him, Xiao Yulong couldn't help but ridicule, this guy is really not serious. Everyone else is competing, but he actually roasted chicken wings. Murong Jinghong said, "Haven't you realized that this is also a manifestation of strength? If it was someone else, would they have the chance to sit there and leisurely roast their wings?" Xiao Yulong was speechless for a while. This was indeed the case. Qin Haodong's team of 3 completely relied on their strength to deter other opponents. No one dared to come over to harass them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the time to barbecue skewers. While the others on the stage were fighting fiercely, the 3 of them gathered around the oven, and the 2 little girls kept swallowing their saliva. "Little brother, are you done roasting them? I'm dying of hunger." The little she-devil looked at the golden chicken wing and said, "All right, this is for you." Qin Haodong gave 2 roasted chicken wings to Zhao Xingyue and the little she-devil each. Then, he began to roast the meat skewers, and the aroma in the field became more and more intense. At this moment, a student who had been sent flying fell from the air. "Get lost, don't disturb me while I'm eating the roasted wings." The little she-devil waved her hand impatiently and directly sent the person flying back. Even without summoning, she was still an expert in the late stage of soul formation. These ordinary students would never be able to compare to her. After driving the person away, the little she-devil picked up the chicken wing and ate it. "It smells so good," it really smells so good. Little brother, your culinary skills are really good. It tastes even better with this. Qin Haodong said as he took out a can of beer and threw it to her. He also casually threw a can of Sprite to Zhao Xingyue, and then he ate the skewers while drinking the beer. What are they eating? It looks very good. What kind of wine are they drinking? The color looks so beautiful, and it smells so good. Originally, everyone was here to watch the freshman competition, but in the end, everyone's attention was attracted by Qin Haodong and the others. Everyone kept swallowing their saliva as they smelled the roasted meat, trying to guess what they were drinking. Although the freshman competition was not over yet, they had already become the focus of the whole competition. Luo Dongqing said bitterly, "This brat, he had such delicious food but didn't take it out to entertain me. And this wine, it smells so good." While the others were in full swing, Qin Haodong and the others were eating and drinking leisurely. About an hour later, the competition finally ended. There were only 16 groups and 48 participants left on the field. However, the others were either sweating or covered in injuries. Only Qin Haodong and the others were eating and drinking leisurely. Seeing that the competition was over, they were almost done eating and drinking. They put away their things again and waited for the referee to announce the next round. Seeing that they were eating and drinking to their heart's content, the other team members were very envious. They were also participating in the competition, but they were fighting to the death while the others were drinking and eating skewers. Why was there such a big gap between them? The next round of the competition entered the group knockout stage. The 16 groups had to draw lots to fight each other, and the losers would be directly eliminated. However, since they had already entered the top 16, everyone would receive a bonus. As one of the top academies on the Lingwu continent, the Black Tortoise Academy was very capable of organizing competitions. After drawing lots, the teams were immediately divided into 8 arenas to enter the next round of the competition. Those who could survive in the chaotic battle were all teams with a certain level of strength. The 3 members who were in the same group as Qin Haodong and the others had all reached the late stage of the divine transformation realm. When Qin Haodong first entered the academy, he became the newcomer king with his cultivation in the late stage of the divine transformation realm. Now, there were as many as 3 of them. It could be seen that these people's cultivation had greatly improved after entering the academy for a month. The leader of the other team was called Duan Balian. Not only was this guy's cultivation high, but he was also very skilled. After getting on the stage, he stared at Qin Haodong and said, "Kid, I heard that you're this year's newcomer king. I want to see how strong you are. With your mediocre skills, you still have the nerve to ask my little brother to fight." The little witch glanced at the 3 of them with disdain. She held the light blue crystal ball in her palm, and the gate of life slowly opened in the hexagram. In terms of fame, the little witch was definitely the most famous in the Black Tortoise Academy. She was even more famous than her grandfather, Luo Dongqing. Every year during the freshman competition, many students came to watch the competition because of her. A powerful senior student had actually been unable to advance for 4 years in a row. This was something to watch. Coupled with the little witch's lowly appearance and devilish figure, she also attracted countless male students. The thing that interested everyone the most was her gate of life. The uncertain summoning ability was also one of the highlights, and there was always suspense. Therefore, when her gate of life opened, everyone's eyes focused on it, looking forward to seeing what kind of monster this little witch could summon. "Come on out, my little baby." Following the little witch's call, a few black shadows rushed out of the gate of life like the wind. The summoned monster landed on the ground. It looked like it was the size of a dog, but its eyes were bloodthirsty, and its mouth revealed deep white teeth. Gale wolves. Oh my god, the little witch actually summoned 5 gale wolves at once. Gale wolves are 6th-rank monsters. Even an expert in the void refinement realm wouldn't be able to handle 5 of them at once. After seeing the 5 gale wolves, everyone had already guessed the result of the competition. He Kaishan fiercely stomped his feet and cursed, "Damn it, she actually summoned these 5 things." Murong Jinghong said, "It seems that Qin Haodong won't be needed in this round." Sure enough, when Duan Balian and the other 2 people saw the 5 Gale Wolves, they immediately turned pale with fright. Generally, a 6th-rank monster was equivalent to an expert in the void refinement realm. The 3 of them were only in the late divine transformation realm, so they probably couldn't even block 1 Gale Wolf, let alone the 5 monsters in front of them. Seeing that the fierce Gale Wolves were about to pounce on them, Duan Balian hurriedly shouted, "I give up. We give up this round." After saying that, the 3 of them were afraid that the little witch wouldn't be able to stop the 5 monsters in time, so they turned around and jumped off the ring. You actually dare to challenge little big brother with that kind of ability." The little witch giggled and then sent the 5 Gale Wolves back into the Gate of Life. The referee walked into the ring and announced that Qin Haodong's team had won this round. Fang Qiong'er said, "Senior brother is really amazing. He didn't even need to do anything to win this round." Yun Qian smiled and said, "Is this the legendary beauty in the eye of the beholder?" It was the little witch who defeated her opponent. Dr. Qin didn't even make a move. How could he tell that he was amazing? Fang Qiong'er glared at her and said, "It's amazing to be able to conquer the little witch, isn't it? Other than senior brother, who else can make the little witch obedient?" Yun Qian nodded and said, "You're right. I've never seen Luo Hongying so obedient in all these years." Although Qin Haodong didn't make a move from beginning to end, he had become the focus of the audience. Although the competition was divided into 8 rings, most people's eyes were focused on their group. After a while, the other 7 matches had ended and the top 8 of this round of the newcomer competition were born. After drawing lots again, Qin Haodong and the other 2 walked into the ring again. Seeing the 3 opponents standing in the ring, Qin Haodong couldn't help but smile. It seemed that he didn't have to fight this time. The leader of the 3 people who had drawn lots in this round was Yun Xiang. After obtaining a fortune pill from Qin Haodong last time, Yun Xiang's cultivation had improved from the middle stage of the divine transformation realm to the late stage. In addition, his 2 opponents in the same group were also very strong, so he stood out in this competition and entered the top 8. After seeing Qin Haodong, Yun Xiang smiled and said, "Brother-in-law, I originally wanted to enter the top 4, but I didn't expect to meet you here. Well, I admit defeat. Remember to owe me a favor and treat me and my sister to a meal." He was the leader of the 3 people, so he greeted the other 2 and then said to the referee next to him, "We admit defeat this round." Suddenly, there was an uproar. Everyone was shocked not only by Yun Xiang's surrender, but also by the way he addressed Qin Haodong. "Brother-in-law, what do you mean? Who is Yun Xiang calling brother-in-law? Is there something wrong with your head? 2 of the 3 people in front of him are women. Who do you think he called brother-in-law? Isn't Yun Xiang Yun Qianqian's brother? If he calls Yun Qianqian brother-in-law, doesn't that mean Yun Qianqian is Qin Haodong's woman?" Chapter 896. Seeing the commotion caused by Yun Xiang calling him brother-in-law, Shui Pan scolded him fiercely, "Bastard! Does this guy have a brain? Doesn't he know that Qin Haodong doesn't like women? How dare he call him brother-in-law in public?" He Kaishan said, "Brother Shui, I think you'd better be careful. Whether this guy likes men or women, it's all hearsay. No one knows for sure. If he really takes Yun Qianqian away, it'll be too late for you to regret it." Shui Pan said fiercely, "We can't give him this chance no matter what. We must drive him out of the Black Tortoise Academy." On the other side, Xiao Yulong said angrily, "Shameless. How dare he just admit defeat?" Murong Jinghong looked indifferent. "Then what do you think they should do?" Xiao Yulong said, "At least let's see what kind of demon the little witch can summon." Murong Jinghong said, "Even if the little demoness can't summon anything, the 3 of them won't be a match for the other party. Why make things difficult for themselves? When the time comes, it'll be embarrassing." Besides, the other party has a special relationship. This, Xiao Yulong was speechless for a moment. He agreed with this reasoning, but he was quite angry. The more Murong Jinghong thought highly of Qin Haodong, the more uncomfortable he felt. Fang Qiong'er pulled Yun Qianqian and said, "What's going on? Why does your brother call my senior brother brother-in-law?" Yun Qianqian said with her cheeks flushed, "Don't you know Yun Xiang? You've never been careful with your mouth, always spouting nonsense." Fang Qiong'er said, "You're lying to me. Without your permission, I don't believe that guy would dare to call a man brother-in-law in public. It's obvious that you're willing." She originally thought that Yun Qianqian would refute her statement, but Yun Qianqian said, "Dr. Qin saved Yun Xiang in my life. As long as he's willing, I'll agree." In the arena, the referee announced that Qin Haodong's team won again. They were the first to finish the previous 8 matches. This time, they were the first to enter the top 4 of the freshman competition. After the match on the other side, they drew lots again. Qin Haodong and the other 2 stepped into the arena again and began the semifinals. This time, their opponents were a group of 2 men and 1 woman, and their leader was a tall and thin young man who was at the early spatial tempering stage. His 2 companions had also reached the late stage of the divine transformation realm. It could be said that this was the strongest opponent they had encountered so far in the competition. Qin Haodong still looked calm. Although this person had reached the early stage of the void training realm, his aura was unstable. It seemed that he had just broken through. It was likely that he had forcibly used elixirs to break through for this competition. The tall, thin man was called Wu Jingdong. He was in the middle stage of the divine transformation realm when he first entered the school. However, he came from a well-off family. In order to win this competition, he had taken a soul transforming pill and a void breaking pill in succession for a month, and only then did he step into the early stage of the qi refining realm. "Qin, I have to say that you're pretty lucky. You actually made it to the semi-finals. But when it comes to me, you won't be so lucky. Just wait to get off the stage." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "I think I rely more on strength, and it has nothing to do with luck." He had learned from the little witch that according to the rules of the Black Tortoise Academy, the freshman competition was not the end, it was only the beginning. After winning the competition, he would have to face the elite older students of the academy. Therefore, he did not want to reveal too much of his strength. It was good enough as long as he could win the competition easily. Wu Jingdong sneered and said, "You talk big. If you have the guts, then fight me with real knives and spears. Let me see how strong you are. Don't always hide behind a woman and enjoy the fruits of others' labor." He looked very imposing, but deep down, he was also afraid of the little witch's summoning skill. If she really did summon 5 more Gale Wolves, then the 3 of them would have no choice but to admit defeat on the spot. Qin Haodong smiled and did not say anything. He turned his head and whispered a few words in the ears of the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. At that moment, the referee called out, "Everyone is ready. The competition begins." Seeing that the little witch did not take out her crystal ball to use her summoning skill, Wu Jingdong was secretly delighted. It seemed that his provocation worked. As long as Qin Haodong fought him, he would have a chance of winning. At that moment, a powerful force suddenly erupted from Zhao Xingyue's body. She was in the middle stage of the void refinement realm. Everyone's attention had been focused on Qin Haodong and the little witch. They had subconsciously ignored the timid and beautiful woman, thinking that she was only in the late stage of the divine transformation realm. In fact, Zhao Xingyue would not have dared to fight these people. However, with Qin Haodong's encouragement, she was able to unleash her aura. Wu Jingdong's attention had been focused on Qin Haodong the whole time. He was shocked by the sudden aura and took a few steps back. At this moment, the little witch took advantage of the moment when the 3 of them were distracted and struck with lightning speed. Wu Jingdong bore the brunt of the attack. Before he could come to his senses, the little witch had already slapped him out of the ring. The other two companions in the late stage of the divine transformation realm were even more vulnerable under the powerful aura of someone in the middle stage of the void refinement realm. They were thrown out of the ring without any room for resistance. Under everyone's shocked eyes, it only took Qin Haodong's team a few seconds to win the game again. The people watching below the ring could not calm down. Up until now, only one person from the team of 3 had made a move and directly made it to the finals. This situation had never occurred before the game. Although everyone knew that Qin Haodong's team was the strongest, they did not expect it to be this strong. A look of disdain flashed in Xiao Yulong's eyes. What kind of man are you to hide behind a woman all the time? Murong Jinghong said, I don't think so. I think he is the strongest among the 3 of them. He was able to make the little witch obedient and come up with such a detailed battle plan in such a short time. It can be seen that his mind is not simple. Seeing that his goddess gave Qin Haodong such a high evaluation, Xiao Yulong said sourly, who knows what's going on? Maybe he is best at deceiving women with sweet words. Murong Jinghong's expression changed, but he did not speak again. Fang Qiong shouted excitedly, that's great. Senior brother has made it to the finals. Yun Qianqian said, Dr. Qin is really powerful. He didn't even need to do anything himself, but he has already made it to the finals. He Kaishan and Xue Pan had been paying attention to the 2 women's movements. Seeing them cheering for Qin Haodong, the killing intent in their eyes became even stronger. Xue Pan scolded fiercely, this cunning guy. I haven't seen him make a move yet. He Kaishan said, Brother Xue, don't worry. Our people will fight with them in the finals soon. I don't believe that he will not make a move against 3 masters in the void training realm. On the stand, Hai Jingming said to Luo Dongqing, Old Luo, this is really amazing. Who is that young man? Who can make Hongying so obedient? Luo Dongqing said, this year's freshman is a very interesting little guy. If I'm right, this year's freshman competition will be their champion. Hai Jingming said, can't you see? The 3 people on the other side are also very powerful. They have been winning all the time. Who will be the champion in the end? Let's see what kind of demon beast Hongying can summon. Luo Dongqing shook her head and said, you still underestimate that kid. Don't look down on him because he hasn't made a move yet. His strength is absolutely powerful. Amidst the many discussions, Qin Haodong's trio and their opponents walked onto the arena of the finals at the same time. The 3 people on the opposite side were called Zhang Lei, Zhao Kai, and Gao Haisheng. These 3 people were also children of big families. They grew up with Xue Pan and followed his lead in everything. This time, in order to probe Qin Haodong's strength, Xue Pan notified the 3 in advance and bought them Creation Pill and Void Breaking Pill at a high price. In just a month, the 3 people were promoted to the early stage of the Void Training Realm. Qin Haodong's side won easily, while Gao Haisheng's trio was also like a hot knife cutting through butter, almost crushing their opponents to enter the finals. After going on the stage, the 3 people simultaneously burst out the aura belonging to Void Training Realm powerhouses, wanting to completely crush their opponents with their power. Heavens, all 3 of them are Void Training Realm experts. This seems to have never happened in the history of the freshman competition. I originally thought that the little witch would be able to win the championship, but now it seems that there is suspense. Hearing the discussions around him, Xue Pan's face was full of pride. Qin boy, let's see how deep you are this time. He Kaishan cautiously said, Brother Xue, we'd better be careful. After all, the little witch is still on the stage. This girl is like a time bomb. Who knows what she will summon? Xue Pan said, what you said makes sense. Send a signal to the 3 of them now and tell them to hurry up and attack. Don't give the little witch a chance to open the living spirit gate. While the 2 of them were talking, before they could send the signal, they saw Qin Haodong stride in front of Gao Haisheng's trio. This round, I will deal with the 3 of you. Do you want to come together or one by one? He Kaishan said in surprise, Brother Xue, why has this kid changed? He wants to fight 3 people alone. Can he really do it? Shui Pan said, this bastard finally stopped being a coward. But at this moment, his expression suddenly changed. Not good, we've been tricked. He's buying time for the little witch. Just as Qin Haodong stepped forward, the little witch had already taken out the crystal ball and quickly opened the living spirit gate. Before Gao Haixing could come back to his senses, Qin Haodong said with a smile, it seems that the 3 of you don't want to fight with me. Then I'll go back. With that, he turned around and ran behind the little witch, looking at the 3 people in front of him with a smile. Gao Haixing also realized that he had been tricked. He shouted to the 2 people behind him, everyone, let's attack together. But at this moment, the living spirit gate had completely opened. After a violent tremor, a silver octopus instantly rushed out from inside. This is a 7th grade magical beast, a silver-clawed octopus. Oh my god, what's the point of fighting? Not to mention 3 early-stage void training realm cultivators, even 30 of them won't be a match for a 7th grade magical beast. That kid is really cunning. It turns out that he didn't want to fight at all, but was buying time. Facing the mountain-like silver-clawed octopus in front of them, Gao Haixing and the other 2 were completely dumbfounded. They were somewhat unwilling to admit defeat like this, but if they were to fight, how could they be a match for the silver-clawed octopus? Just when they were stunned, the silver-clawed octopus had already taken the initiative to attack. As a 7th-rank monstrous beast, its strength was frighteningly strong. 3 tentacles that were several tens of feet long shot out like lightning, instantly wrapping around the 3 people. The attacks of the 3 people landed on the tentacles were no different from scratching an itch, not having the slightest effect. Seeing that they were about to be thrown into the bloody mouth, Gao Haixing and the other 2 immediately shouted, help, I admit defeat. Chapter 897. Refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. The little she-devil giggled and snapped her fingers at the silver-clawed octopus. Okay, let them go and go back. The summoner was the king of the summoned beasts. The silver-clawed octopus unwillingly put down the 3 people and instantly retreated to the living spirit gate. Holy sh*t, that kid didn't even make a move and he won the championship. That kid is too cunning, I'm not convinced, I can see that the so-called newcomer king is bullshit. He doesn't even have the courage to fight. In the end, he still has to rely on the little she-devil. Qin Haodong didn't care about the discussions around him. Anyway, today's strategy was very successful. He won the championship while preserving his strength. That bastard, our preparations were all in vain. Looking at Qin Haodong on the stage, Shui Pan was so angry that his eyes were about to spit fire, but he couldn't do anything. He Kaishan said, Boss Shui, don't worry. The hunting competition is about to begin. I don't believe we can't deal with this kid by then. Xiao Yulong said, this kid is too shameless. He has been hiding behind a woman and won the championship without even moving a finger. He has lost all the face of a man. Murong Jinghong's mouth curved into a bright smile. I don't think so. I think he is an interesting man. Seeing that the woman he liked had a better and better impression of Qin Haodong, Xiao Yulong secretly clenched his teeth. He would teach this toy boy a lesson during the hunting competition. He would let him see what a real man was and what a real strong person was. No matter what the audience thought, the competition went on as usual. The referee announced that Qin Haodong and the other 2 were the champions of the newcomer competition. Then, Luo Dongqing went to the podium again and began to speak to the students. After a summary of the competition, according to the rules before the competition, all the students who entered the group stage were rewarded. The champion received 20,000 top-grade spirit stones, the runner-up received 15,000 top-grade spirit stones, and the third place received 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. Qin Haodong had obtained 20,000 best-grade spirit stones. Together with the 80,000 he had earned from selling elixirs, he had 100,000 best-grade spirit stones. He could try to break through. However, at this moment, Luo Dongqing, who was on the stage, spoke again. Students, this money is not yours for now. We are about to enter the old students' hunting competition. They will make a move to snatch the spirit stones from you. You must use your own strength to defend your rewards. Following that, the freshman tournament entered the veteran student hunting segment. Luo Dongqing announced the rules of the hunting competition. Firstly, during the hunting competition, the safety of the students must be ensured. It's fine to injure others, but no one is allowed to take their lives. Otherwise, they will be expelled from the Black Tortoise Institute. Secondly, in the process of the hunting competition, every team was a hunter and a prey at the same time. You can snatch top-quality spirit stones from any group of students, but you can only snatch half at a time. Violators will be disqualified from the competition, and all the top-quality spirit stones will be confiscated. Thirdly, the hunting competition will be held in the Nightmare Grand Canyon for 24 hours. All participants must cross the Nightmare Grand Canyon within 24 hours and reach the exit on the other side. Otherwise, they will be regarded as the loser and all the top-quality spirit stones will be confiscated. After the rules were announced, the Black Tortoise Institute organized the final 48 new students and the 30 old students to go to the Nightmare Grand Canyon. The canyon was not far from the Black Tortoise Institute. It was shaped like a spindle and was previously called the Spindle Canyon. Later, because of the old students' hunting competition, it became a nightmare for the new students, so it was renamed to the Nightmare Grand Canyon. According to the Institute's rules, the new students had to enter the Nightmare Grand Canyon 10 minutes before the competition. When Luo Dongqing gave the order, the new students who won rushed into the Nightmare Grand Canyon. Each of them treasured the top-quality spirit stones in their hands and did not want them to be snatched by others. They wanted to cross the canyon and reach the exit on the other side as soon as possible. The only ones who were different were Qin Haodong's group of 3. He turned around and looked at the old students who were glaring at him. Like them, the old students who participated in the hunting competition were also in groups of 3. Apart from the little she-devil Ndong Zhenhai, who had been expelled from the institute, the top 10 experts of the institute were all in the group. However, the Black Tortoise Institute did not want the gap in strength to be too big, so they asked the top 10 old students to be in groups of 2, accompanied by one other student. The most eye-catching group was the group of Murong Jinghong and Xiao Yulong. The two of them were already very strong, and now they were even stronger than before. At the same time, they were accompanied by an old student who was in the early stages of the void refinement realm. This kind of strength was absolutely daunting to anyone who saw it. Behind them was the group of Fang Qiong and Yun Shanshan, followed by the group of Xue Pan and He Kaishan. Each of these groups was also accompanied by a strong old student. In fourth place were the 3 people that Qin Haodong was not familiar with. After the little she-devil secretly introduced them, he found out that 2 of them were Jiang Qingzhou, who was ranked 5th among the top 10 experts, and Song Junyu, who was ranked 8th. The remaining 6 groups were slightly weaker, but each group also had an expert who had reached the void refinement realm. Seeing Qin Haodong look in his direction, Xue Pan said fiercely, "Kid, no one can protect you in the hunting competition. Just wait for me to hand over all your spirit stones." He and He Kaishan had already secretly discussed it. Although the institute stipulated that only half of the spirit stones could be taken at a time, there was no limit to the number of times. When the time came, the 2 groups would not take any spirit stones, but would specifically target Qin Haodong. Not only would they rob him until he collapsed, but they would also destroy his cultivation at the same time. In the face of this blatant threat, Qin Haodong only smiled slightly. "I have plenty of spirit stones. Come and take them if you can." What the hell, who is this kid? How dare he provoke Xue Pan and He Kaishan? This time he is doomed. I guess this kid must be relying on the little she-devil, that's why he dared to challenge Xue Pan. But he has never thought that the little she-devil's summoning technique can't be used all the time. If he encounters an unreliable situation, He will be in trouble. Does he really think he is so great just because he is the champion of the freshman competition? Freshmen are just freshmen. There is no way he can be compared to the top 10 experts in the institute. This kid is dead meat. The surrounding students were all engaged in heated discussions. The senior students participating in this year's freshman competition were extremely grand, and even the Jinghong fairy, Murong Jinghong, who usually didn't participate in such activities, was here. This instantly ignited everyone's excitement. Although the institute has increased the rewards this time, this year's freshmen are going to be miserable. Even Murong Jinghong fairy is participating in the freshman competition. I bet they won't even have their underwear left. You are right. So what if the rewards are higher? In the end, they will all be theirs. Qin Haodong ignored the discussions around him. He waved his hand at Fang Qiong and Yun Shanshan, who were looking at him warmly. Then, the three of them entered the Nightmare Grand Canyon. This was the little she-devil's fourth time participating in the freshman competition, so she was familiar with the area. She led the three of them straight into the canyon. Looking at the primeval forest that covered the sky, Zhao Xingyue grabbed Qin Haodong's arm tightly and asked nervously, "We have already won the championship. Why are there still people coming to rob us of our top-grade spirit stones?" The little she-devil said, "This is a strategy that the Black Tortoise Institute uses to train students. Through this method, they can let the new students know the gap between them and the old students, so that they can work hard and improve their cultivation. Why is there a rule that only half of the top-grade spirit stones can be robbed each time? The purpose is to give everyone more opportunities to fight, instead of being eliminated in one go. At the same time, it is also a test for the old students. How do you think the top 10 experts in the institute are ranked? They are ranked according to the number of top-grade spirit stones they have obtained after the annual hunting competition." Zhao Xingyue nodded. She understood the reason, but she was still a little nervous. Qin Haodong said, "That is to say, the ranking of the top 10 experts is old news from a year ago, so it is not accurate?" The little she-devil said, "According to the last ranking, Yun Shanshan was ranked 7th, and Fang Qiong was ranked 9th, but they should not be in that position now. Their cultivation levels have been improved by you, so their rankings should be higher. Similarly, the others should also have their own improvements, so after the hunting competition every year, there will be a big change in the institute's top 10 experts. Some newcomers will enter the top 10, and some original experts will fall out of the rankings. But Murong Jinghong is really strong, and no one can shake her ranking." Zhao Xingyue said, "Brother Qin, let's go quickly, okay? Or we can fly directly to the exit of the canyon." Normally, with the flying speed of cultivators in the void training realm, they could fly over the canyon in less than half an hour. The little she-devil said, "Sister Xingyue, you think too much. This canyon is 100 miles long and 30 miles wide. The whole canyon has been strengthened by the institute's formation. No one can fly here, so they can only walk step by step." Zhao Xingyue said nervously, "What should we do? When those people catch up with us, will our spirit stones be taken away by them?" Qin Haodong said speechlessly, "Xingyue, you're an expert at the middle stage of the void training realm. Can't you be more courageous? Why should our spirit stones be taken away by them?" "But I'm afraid. I don't dare to fight them." The little she-devil said, "What's there to be afraid of? You've seen the rules of the institute. You're only allowed to hurt people here, and you're not allowed to kill people. What are you afraid of?" Zhao Xingyue lowered her head and said, "I'm just afraid." Qin Haodong was speechless. During this period of time, he had tried many ways to improve Zhao Xingyue's courage. It was easy to improve cultivation, but it was too difficult to improve courage. The little girl was still so timid. He said, "Don't worry. I'm here. Nothing will happen. You just need to listen to my arrangements." Zhao Xingyue also felt a little embarrassed and nodded. "I know, Brother Qin. I'll listen to you. After that, she grabbed Qin Haodong's arm tightly again, for fear that he would run away if she let go. Qin Haodong frowned. It seemed that he really needed to make a good plan this time. Of his two teammates, one was extremely unreliable. He might summon another rabbit or sheep, so he had no fighting capacity at all. The other one was very strong, but he did not have the courage to fight. If he wanted to win the hunting contest, he could only rely on himself in the end. The three of them moved forward quickly as they talked. In the blink of an eye, the reserved 10 minutes had passed, and the old students on the other side of the canyon had officially begun to enter. Suddenly, Qin Haodong's expression changed and he shouted, "Someone is coming. Let's hide." Chapter 898. Although they were both at the middle stage of the void training realm, Qin Haodong's spirit was much more sensitive than Zhao Xingyue's and the little witches. He had already sensed that someone was approaching. He immediately took the two of them through the trees and finally chose a big tree with dense branches and leaves to hide. Not long after they hid, three figures dashed over and stopped not far from the tree. "What's going on? I clearly sensed that someone was here. Why did he suddenly disappear?" It was Xue Pan who spoke with a murderous look. He Kaishan was next to him and Hao Wei, a senior student at the early stage of the void training realm. The three of them carefully looked around but still couldn't find anyone. Hao Wei said, "Brother Xue, did you make a mistake?" Xue Pan said doubtfully, "It can't be. I clearly sensed that someone was here. Why did he suddenly disappear?" He Kaishan said, "Brother Xue, don't worry. The competition has just begun. That Qin guy can't escape from us." Xue Pan nodded and said, "Let's go ahead and have a look. We must find him." Then, the three of them rushed forward again. Three idiots. The little witch was about to jump down from the tree with a smile, but Qin Haodong stopped her and motioned for her not to speak. Although she didn't understand why Qin Haodong was doing this, there was nothing to be afraid of since he had already left. However, out of trust in Qin Haodong, she closed her mouth and squatted on the branch and looked down. A few minutes later, the three of them appeared under the tree again. He Kaishan said, "Brother Xue, it seems that you're really overthinking. There's really no one here." Xue Pan said doubtfully, "It seems that I really sensed wrong." After the three of them left again, Qin Haodong took the little witch and Zhao Xingyue and jumped down from the tree. The little witch said, "Xue Pan is a cunning bastard." Zhao Xingyue said, "Brother Qin, why don't we hide in the tree? They can't find us anyway." Qin Haodong said speechlessly, "Have you forgotten the rules of the academy? If we can't reach the exit of the canyon within 24 hours, we will be judged to have lost and we will have to hand over all the spirit stones." The little witch said, "Sister Xingyue, I really don't know what you're afraid of. If Brother Qin hadn't asked me to hide, would have summoned the silver-clawed octopus and eaten them all." Qin Haodong suddenly, a thought flashed through his mind. Although he had obtained 20,000 spirit stones as a reward, this was for the three of them. It would not be good for him to keep it all to himself. In this way, there was still a gap between his goal of 100,000 spirit stones. He had to find a way to earn more money. He asked, "Hong Ying, according to the rules of the academy tournament, can we also steal top-quality spirit stones from older students?" "Of course." Luo Hongying said, "What is a big hunting contest? Everyone else was your prey. As long as you had the ability, you could snatch the spirit stones away." However, generally speaking, the strength of a new student was much weaker than that of a veteran student. It was already a miracle that they did not get robbed. Very few people dared to have any ideas about a veteran student. In the past, when I participated in this kind of competition, it was always an individual unit, so no one dared to rob me, but I did rob a lot of top-quality spirit stones, otherwise, I would not be ranked second in the whole school. Qin Haodong said, "In this case, we can't go back empty-handed this time. We must rob more. The little witch cried excitedly, okay, that's the most exciting way. I don't want any money I get. I'll give it all to you. She had always been fearless and did not care much about money. What she cared about was the process of robbing. Zhao Xingyue said nervously, Brother Qin, I don't need my money, but can we not rob? Let's get out of here quickly. Qin Haodong said, Xingyue, remember, no matter where you go, the law of the jungle is the law of nature. If you dare not rob others, then others will rob you. Zhao Xingyue nodded and said, well, I'll listen to you. After the three reached an agreement, they hurried forward together to find their first target. In the dense forest, 3 old students wearing black school uniforms sped over. A tall and thin student said, Boss, we don't seem to be very lucky this time. We haven't even found a new student yet. Another student followed and said, yes, for this big hunting match, we invested a lot of money to buy pills. It was not easy to improve our cultivation. If we can't find new students and rob money, we will lose money. The student in the middle who was called the boss was called Li Yunhe. A month ago, he was still at the early stage of the void refining realm, but in order to get more spirit stones in this big hunting match, he bought a void breaking pill with a lot of money and promoted his cultivation to the middle stage of the void refining realm. Don't worry, it's only been an hour. As long as we can find new students, then all their money will be ours. The tall and thin student said, Boss is right. Now you are at the middle stage of the void refining realm, and we are both at the early stage of the void refining realm. Although those new students look very good in the arena, they are still rookies compared to us. Of course, with our current cultivation, no one is our opponent except Murong Jinghong and the others, let alone those new students. Li Yunhe smiled proudly and said, we have to hurry, or we won't get much money if others get ahead of us. According to the rules of the academy, they could only take half of the other party's spirit stones each time. The earlier they robbed, the more they would get. After that, the 3 of them rushed forward, constantly looking for traces of new students. 10 minutes later, the tall and thin student shouted, Boss, look, there are people in front. Li Yunhe looked in the direction of his finger and saw 3 people sitting on the grass in the forest, eating snacks and drinking beer. It seemed that they were not here to participate in the competition, but more like they were here for an outing. The tall and thin student shouted, Boss, it's the little witch and Qin Haodong. Should we take action? Li Yunhe said excitedly, of course, they are fat sheep. They have 20,000 top-grade spirit stones. As long as we rob half of them, we will get 10,000. It's much more cost-effective than robbing other new students. The tall and thin student said hesitantly, but boss, the little witch is so powerful. Are you sure we can succeed? Li Yunhe said, the little witch's summoning is famous for being unreliable. She has successfully summoned powerful magical beasts twice in a row. This time, she definitely won't be so lucky. This is a chance given to us by God. Hurry up and do it. As the saying goes, fortune comes from danger. The other 2 companions also suppressed their fear and rushed over with a shout. The 3 of them surrounded Qin Haodong and the others. Li Yunhe took 2 steps forward and shouted to the little witch and Qin Haodong, boy, hand over the money if you know what's good for you. When we start, you will suffer. Qin Haodong pinched a spiced peanut and threw it into his mouth. He smiled at the little witch and said, I didn't expect a fish to take the bait so soon. The little witch said excitedly, little brother, that's a good idea. Let's hurry up and grab the money. You're right. We have to hurry up. Qin Haodong stood up and said to Li Yunhe and the other 2, hurry up and hand over the money, or you will suffer when I start. The tall and thin student was stunned at first, then he said to Li Yunhe, brother, he stole our lines. Li Yunhe's face darkened. Boy, don't think that you are great just because you are the freshman champion. You new students are not at the same level as us old students. Hurry up and hand over the money, or I won't be polite. Qin Haodong smiled slightly. Since you are not convinced, then hurry up and don't waste time. Boy, go to hell. Li Yunhe glanced at the little witch and saw that she did not take out the crystal ball to use the summoning skill. He immediately took the initiative and punched at Qin Haodong's chest. This was the first time he had used all his strength since he reached the middle stage of the void training realm. The punch was heavy and powerful. The powerful momentum rolled up the leaves on the ground and flew all over the sky. In his opinion, Qin Haodong was at most at the early stage of the void training realm. He could not resist his full blow at all. But before his fist could touch Qin Haodong's chest, a palm suddenly slapped down from the sky and sent him flying. There was no one watching, so Qin Haodong no longer hid his strength. He dealt with his opponent as fast as he could. Li Yunhe was hit so hard that he was confused. He originally thought that with his cultivation, he could definitely crush Qin Haodong. He did not expect that he would be swatted away like a fly. He did not have the slightest resistance against Qin Haodong. Great, little brother is so great. The little witch clapped her hands and shouted happily. What's going on? Could it be that he is not the weakest? Li Yunhe crawled up from the ground and felt the powerful aura coming from Qin Haodong's body. He immediately understood that this young man had been hiding his strength during the freshman competition. Among the 3 people in the team, he was the strongest. Qin Haodong took 2 steps forward and looked at him with a smile. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and hand over the money. Otherwise, you will be robbed by others. Li Yunhe was depressed to death. He was a senior student, and he was here to rob money, okay? This guy actually wanted to rob his money. Was there any law? Seeing his unwilling expression, Qin Haodong shook his head. It seems that I have to do it myself. He walked towards Li Yunhe again. Li Yunhe glanced at his 2 companions and shouted, let's do it together. The 3 of them were good friends and cooperated very well. After shouting, they rushed towards Qin Haodong together. Pa! 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 After 3 consecutive crisp sounds, Li Yunhe was slapped to the ground again. But this time, there were 2 more companions beside him. Now they realized the strength of the other party. Li Yunhe crawled up from the ground and shouted, Qin Haodong, let's go our separate ways and not make things difficult for each other, okay? The little witch stepped forward and said, I say, don't you have any shame? You want to make things difficult for little brother, but do you have the ability? Hurry up and hand over the money, or I won't be polite anymore. Li Yunhe and the other 2 looked at each other. They originally came to rob money, but they didn't expect to become the target of robbery. Run! Li Yunhe roared, and the 3 of them ran in 3 different directions. He had already thought it through. Since he couldn't rob the other party's spirit stones, it was good to keep his. But it turned out that their dream was too beautiful. After running a few steps, they felt their knees go soft and fell to the ground with a plop. The little witch stepped forward and stepped on Li Yunhe's right hand. She reached out and grabbed his storage ring. With a thought, she took out 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. Chapter 899. Why is it so little? The little she-devil said with dissatisfaction. Li Yunhe felt like he was about to collapse. How could this girl think that it was too little? This is my own money. We haven't gotten anything since we entered the nightmare forest. What a waste. The little she-devil put away the 1,000 top-grade spirit stones and kicked his butt hard. Then, she threw the storage ring back. At this time, Qin Haodong had also grabbed the storage rings of the other 2 students and took out half of their spirit stones. However, these people did not have as much money as Li Yunhe, so they only had 1,600 top-grade spirit stones in total. Get out of here. Don't let us see you again, paupers. The little she-devil turned around and handed the money to Qin Haodong excitedly. Little brother, it feels so good to rob. This little girl did not care about money, but she enjoyed the process of robbing. Qin Haodong put away the spirit stones and said with a smile, "Let's hurry and find the next one. There are still many spirit stones waiting for us." Yun Xiang walked forward carefully with his two companions. He knew very well that he could not fight against the senior students with his strength. He could only hope that he would not be discovered. It turned out that this idea of his was an extravagant hope. These senior students had participated in the hunting competition many times and had rich experience in finding the traces of new students. As soon as they came out of a dense thicket, they saw 3 senior students in black standing in front of them. The leading senior student said, "We have been watching you for a long time. Hurry up and hand over the money." Yun Xiang sighed. 2 of the 3 had the aura of the void training realm. Even if they were only at the early stage of the void training realm, they were not people that he could deal with. In order to avoid getting hurt, he discussed with his companions and had no choice but to take out half of his spirit stones and give it to them. The senior student took the money and glanced at Yun Xiang and the other 2 in disdain. "How can you new students who haven't even grown out their hair fight against us? You are just here to give us money. Hurry up and scram. If we see you again, we will rob you again. You are too much. If you want to rob, then rob. Why do you have to insult us?" One of Yun Xiang's companions shouted angrily. The old student chuckled and said arrogantly, "Kid, you're not convinced, are you? I've already robbed 3 batches of new students like you. What can you do? In our Black Tortoise Institute, if you don't have the strength, you can't even fart." Another veteran student shouted, "That's right. If you have the ability, why don't you come and rob us too?" With that, he patted the storage ring on his hand. "To tell you the truth, I have 5 or 6,000 top-grade spirit stones here. You can't take them away." After saying that, the 3 old students burst into laughter. Their strength was not considered outstanding among the many old students participating in the hunt, but they had a student who was extremely good at tracking. Therefore, not long after they entered the Grand Canyon, they had already robbed 4 groups of new students and obtained a large number of spirit stones. Yun Xiang sighed and hurriedly pulled back his partner who was about to go berserk. He had already given the money to the other party, and it was not wise to get himself injured at this time. He was right. He didn't have that kind of strength, so he could only endure it. But at this moment, a cold voice sounded from the side, "You're right. Strength is everything. Without strength, no matter how many spirit stones you snatch, you won't be able to protect them." As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Haodong appeared in front of the 6 people with the little witch and Zhao Xinyue. "It's you." The eyes of the leading old student lit up. He knew very well how much money Qin Haodong had. It was a total of 20,000 top-grade spirit stones. He cried excitedly, "Boy, hand over the money quickly." Qin Haodong glanced at the 3 people and said, "Hurry up and take out your money, and then get out of here. A new student dares to talk to me like this. Now I'll show you the gap between a new student and an old student." The 3 people cooperated very tacitly. After a loud roar, they rushed at Qin Haodong together. According to their idea, as long as they controlled Qin Haodong first, they would not be afraid of the little witch's summoning skill. The strategy was right, but unfortunately, they did not have the strength. As soon as they rushed forward, they were all kicked to the ground by Qin Haodong. The little witch now cooperated with him very tacitly. She did not intend to use the summoning skill at all. Instead, she directly stepped on the 3 people and grabbed their storage rings one by one. "I've already said that with your strength, it's useless to rob the spirit stones. They were all prepared for us." The 3 people were so angry that they could only stare, but they also saw the gap between them and Qin Haodong. Just now, Qin Haodong's kick directly sealed all the acupoints of their body. Now they could not use any strength at all. Even if they wanted to resist, they were powerless. The little witch happily robbed the three people. Unexpectedly, she robbed 10,000 top-grade spirit stones at one time. She took half of them, and there were still 5,000 left. Seeing the little witch take away the spirit stones, they could do nothing. In an instant, the three people experienced the helplessness of Yun Xiang and others just now. After the little witch robbed them, she threw the 3 storage rings back to them. The 3 people picked up the rings and were about to leave. Qin Haodong shouted, "Wait a minute." The black-clothed student turned back and said angrily, "According to the rules of the college, you have robbed them. What else do you want?" "Don't worry, we will abide by the rules of the college." Qin Haodong turned back to Yun Xiang and others and said, "We can't rob them anymore, but you still have a chance." Yun Xiang was stunned at first, and then he understood. Now that the 3 people's cultivation had been suppressed, it would be a waste not to rob them. The student shouted angrily, "You can't do this. It's against the rules of the college to rob spirit stones together." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Senior, you're wrong. We didn't join hands. I just reminded them. Let's go now." After that, he left with the little witch and the other 2 people to find the next target. There was an angry roar behind them. Although the 3 old students were shouting loudly, they had no ability to resist. Soon, they were robbed again by Yun Xiang and his 2 companions. Not only did they get back all the spirit stones they had just lost, but they also gained a lot. All of this was Qin Haodong's intention. After all, they had always called him brother-in-law, so he had to give them some benefits. Next, they continued their robbery plan, but they did not attack the new students. They only targeted the old students who came to participate in the hunting contest. With his powerful spirit perception and 500 years of rich experience, Qin Haodong attacked the old students again and again with the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. In less than half a day, they had robbed 6 out of 10 groups of old students. The strongest among them was at the middle stage of the void training realm, so they posed no threat to Qin Haodong. The little witch did not need to use her summoning skills at all. He could handle them all by himself. For a moment, the old students who came to participate in the hunting contest were on tenterhooks. They were scared that they would accidentally encounter the 3 demon groups again. Moreover, the 3 of them would not only rob once, but every time they attacked, their cultivation would be sealed, and then the new students would rob them. After so many years of the hunting contest, this was the first time that there had been a dramatic twist. The old students who were originally playing the role of hunters were about to cry when they were robbed by the new students. The nightmare Grand Canyon had become their nightmare. Feng Qiong and Yun Qianqian had been searching for Qin Haodong since they entered the canyon. Of course, they did not want to rob him, but to protect him. Although the rules of the academy forbade 2 groups of students from joining forces, they could rob them as soon as they appeared. That was what they thought, but they did not see Qin Haodong for a long time. Instead, they met a few old students who had been robbed. After asking around, they found out that these people had been robbed by Qin Haodong instead. Hearing this news, Feng Qiong said excitedly, "Senior brother, you are really amazing. Although you were not robbed, you robbed so many old students." Yun Qianqian said, "Dr. Qin is really unpredictable. It seems that he does not need our help at all." Chang Kai was in the same group as them. He asked worriedly, "Seniors, they've already snatched 6 out of 10 groups of veteran students. Will they make a move on us?" Yun Qianqian smiled and said, "I don't think so. Even if they rob us, they will rob us of our bodies, not our wealth. Senior sister, you are not scaring me, are you?" Yun Qianqian originally wanted to joke with Feng Qiong, but she did not expect to scare Chang Kai. Recently, the rumor that Qin Haodong liked men had spread throughout the academy. Even Chang Kai had heard about it. Now that he heard that Qin Haodong was going to rob them, and he was the only man in his group, the result was self-evident. Yun Qianqian and Chang Kai were stunned at first, then they burst into laughter. Even Fang Qiong, who had always been cold, could not help laughing. Seeing that Chang Kai was getting more and more nervous, Fang Qiong said, "Don't worry, my senior brother is not that kind of person." In the middle of the forest, Xue Pan and He Kaishan's faces became more and more gloomy. Ever since they entered the canyon, they had tried their best to find Qin Haodong, but they had not found him. Moreover, all the students they had robbed had been robbed by Qin Haodong, so they did not get too many spirit stones. Xue Pan said angrily, "Damn it, I really don't know where he is hiding." He Kaishan said, "Brother Xue, don't worry. Don't you see the pattern? This kid is robbing us old students one by one. Now 6 of the 10 groups have been robbed, and they will probably find us soon. It will not be too late for us to deal with him then." Xue Pan said with a murderous look, "If this kid comes to us, I will make him suffer." In another group of 3, Jiang Qingzhou said with a serious look, "I didn't expect that there would be such a heaven-defying student in the freshman competition. He actually turned the tables and robbed us old students. According to the order of their actions, it will be our group's turn soon." Next to him, Song Junyu said proudly, "What are you afraid of? The more spirit stones they rob, the better. In the end, they will all be ours." She had the confidence to say this. After a year of hard work, her cultivation had improved from the early stage of void training to the middle stage, and she had also become a 6th-grade summoner. Compared with the unreliable little witch, she was a very normal summoner. After reaching the 6th grade, she could always summon 6th-grade magical beasts. In their group, she and Jiang Qingzhou were powerhouses at the middle stage of void training. Coupled with an early-stage void training assistant, their strength was extremely strong. If they could summon a few 6th-grade magical beasts to help, their strength would almost be comparable to Murong Jinghong and Xiao Yulong's group. Naturally, they would not be afraid of a freshman like Qin Haodong. "Really? I don't think so. Your spirit stones are mine, but mine is still mine." As soon as his voice fell, Qin Haodong appeared in front of the 3 people with the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. Chapter 900. After seeing them, Jiang Qingzhou's expression changed. "Boy, you really dare to come?" Qin Haodong said, "I haven't taken your spirit stones yet." "Why wouldn't you dare to come?" Song Junyu said proudly, "You talk big. You want to take our spirit stones? Let's see if you have the ability." The little witch cried, "Song Junyu, do you think you can fight against my little brother with your lousy summoning skills?" Song Junyu glanced at her and sneered. "My level is not very high. I'm a 6th-grade summoner, but my performance is stable and I can summon 6th-grade magical beasts every time. Unlike some people who don't even know what they summon." The little witch was furious. "Just you wait. I'll call the magical beasts to tear your bones apart. If you have the ability, let's compete and see who can summon the more powerful magical beasts." Before the others could make a move, the 2 summoners had already created sparks. After saying that, Song Junyu took out a magic staff and quickly opened his gate of summoning. A door slowly opened in the void. However, his level was relatively low, so the gate of summoning opened did not look very big and ordinary. Compared with the little witch's gate of summoning, it was much less imposing. The gate of summoning slowly opened, and 3 huge multicolored tigers walked out from within. Seeing the 3 tigers, Jiang Qingzhou looked happy. They were 6th-grade magical beasts, sky-splitting tigers. Song Junyu not only successfully summoned 6th-grade magical beasts, but also 3 of them at once, which greatly improved their strength. At the same time, the little witch also took out her crystal ball and quickly summoned a hexagram to open the gate of summoning. Song Junyu sneered. "Luo Hongying, let's see what you can summon." The little witch looked dissatisfied and shouted angrily, "Come out, my baby. Teach them a lesson." After she finished shouting, a snow-white figure scuttled out of the forest gate. It was a white little sheep. Holy sh*t, this is a little too unreliable. Qin Haodong raised his hand to cover his eyes. He really couldn't watch it anymore. The little demoness didn't expect that she would summon such a magical beast. It had no rank and no combat power. It was just like sending food to the opponent. Song Junyu burst into laughter after a brief moment of astonishment. Luo Hongying, this is the magical beast you summoned, right? Let it teach us a good lesson. At this moment, the little sheep that was summoned saw the 3 ferocious tigers in front of it. It was so frightened that it didn't know what to do and collapsed to the ground. Roar! After a deafening roar, the 3 sky-splitting tigers rushed over and devoured the little sheep in just a few seconds. This scene made Zhao Xingyue, who was already extremely nervous, even more scared. She grabbed Qin Haodong's arm tightly and hid behind him. The little witch's living spirit gate could only be used once every 10 minutes. If she wanted to summon it again, she would have to wait another 10 minutes. Right now, she was just an ordinary soul formation stage expert. Whether it was the heaven-splitting tiger or the 3 people in front of her, she was no match for them. Little big brother, this is going to be troublesome. Although the little witch wasn't as timid as Zhao Xingyue, she could clearly see the situation in front of her. Qin Haodong didn't panic too much. Right now, his biggest trump card was the Yuan explosion pill. As long as he swallowed it, he would instantly reach the mid-stage of the form synthesis stage. It wouldn't be too difficult for him to deal with these people. However, there were more powerful opponents ahead of him. He didn't want to reveal his strength too quickly, so he didn't want to use it for now. On the other side, Jiang Qingzhou and the 3 sky-splitting tigers surrounded Qin Haodong and the others. Jiang Qingzhou sneered. Qin Haodong, are you still going to steal our spirit stones? Qin Haodong said indifferently. Of course. I've already said that your spirit stones are mine. Stubborn duck. Song Junyu waved her hand and a sky-splitting tiger pounced on Qin Haodong. The sky-splitting tiger was originally a 6th-grade magical beast. It was extremely ferocious, and it had just eaten a little sheep. Its sharp claws and ghastly teeth were still covered in blood, making it look even more terrifying. Seeing this, Zhao Xingyue let out a terrifying scream and instantly closed her eyes. She didn't even have the courage to watch. Get out of here. Qin Haodong roared and punched the sky-splitting tiger's forehead. Roar! The sky-splitting tiger obviously didn't realize that the human in front of it was so powerful. After letting out a miserable howl, its huge body was sent flying more than 10 meters away and fell to the ground with a thud. However, the sky-splitting tiger was also one of the stronger 6th-grade magical beasts. Although it had been sent flying, it didn't suffer too much damage. Rolling on the ground, it got up and pounced on Qin Haodong again with a roar. At the same time, the other 2 sky-splitting tigers joined the battle to help their companion. Qin Haodong punched the 3 sky-splitting tigers one after another, but he could only force them back. If he didn't use the Yuan explosion pill, it would be difficult to kill them. Jiang Qingzhou said proudly, Qin, what do you think? I advise you to hand over the spirit stones. At least you can keep half of them for your own use. If we hurt you later, the spirit stones will be taken away by others. Qin Haodong frowned. These 3 tigers were indeed a bit troublesome. He suddenly saw the life spirit gate summoned by the little witch. Since the little sheep had been eaten by the sky-splitting tigers, the gate was still open. Qin Haodong had an idea and said to the little witch, try it and see if you can send these 3 annoying guys back. The little witch was slightly stunned, but she immediately understood Qin Haodong's intention. Although she had never done this before, it wouldn't hurt to give it a try. The sky-splitting tigers and the little sheep were both creatures summoned from a different space. She just didn't know if the sky-splitting tigers that came out of Song Junyu's gate of summoning could be sent into her life spirit gate. Thinking of this, she shouted to the 3 sky-splitting tigers, hurry up and go back, little babies. At this moment, 3 invisible forces shot out of the life spirit gate and enveloped the 3 sky-splitting tigers. They were instantly pulled in, then slowly closed and finally disappeared. Song Junyu had been watching Qin Haodong being suppressed by the 3 sky-splitting tigers with great interest. She never dreamed that the little witch would send her summoned magical beasts back in the blink of an eye. He had never seen or heard of this kind of operation before. If this could work, how could he, a summoner, fight against them? In comparison, Song Junyu's gate of summoning was of a lower level. He didn't have a holy spirit physique, so he had to pause for at least an hour after each summoning. Besides, so what if he could summon it? If he summoned it, the other party would send it back. What was the meaning of that? Little brother, you're so smart. I never thought that the life spirit gate could be used like this. The little she-devil kissed Qin Haodong on the cheek, and then said to Song Junyu proudly, "What do you think? Do you still want to compete?" Song Junyu gritted his teeth and said, "Even without the sky-splitting tigers, you're still no match for us." After saying that, he jumped and reached out to grab the little witch. At the same time, Jiang Qingzhou and another senior student moved and attacked Qin Haodong together. The little witch did not fight Song Junyu head-on. After all, she was no match for Song Junyu with her cultivation. According to the battle plan, she moved her feet and hid behind Qin Haodong with Zhao Xingyue. Gale Thunder Palm. Jiang Qingzhou held his breath and hit Qin Haodong's chest with his palm. The Gale Thunder Palm was his trump card. After his palm struck out, there was a faint sound of wind and thunder. It was full of momentum. Qin Haodong did not care. He raised his hand and struck out with his own palm. The 2 palms collided with a bang. In Jiang Qingzhou's mind, Qin Haodong's cultivation was at most in the middle stage of void training, which was about the same as his. But when the 2 palms collided, he realized that there was a gap between them even though they were both in the early stage of void training. Qin Haodong's seemingly casual palm contained the power to topple the mountains and overturn the seas. It sent him flying more than a dozen meters away. He felt the heat in his chest and almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Qin Haodong did not stop. He pushed Jiang Qingzhou back with one palm and slapped the early-stage refining warrior next to him to the ground. By the time Song Junyu came to help, he was facing Qin Haodong alone. Excluding the skills of the summoner, he was inferior to Jiang Qingzhou in terms of martial arts. Naturally, he was no match for Qin Haodong. After one move, he was kicked away. After defeating the 3, Qin Haodong naturally would not give them another chance to join forces. He followed them like a shadow, raised his hand and hit Song Junyu's acupoint, sealing his cultivation. Then Jiang Qingzhou and the senior student followed. In less than a minute, all 3 of them were captured. The little witch rushed up with a cheer and directly harvested the trophies. She took off the storage rings of the 3 people. Their group was also the strongest among the students. After half a day, they had indeed robbed a lot of top-grade spirit stones. The little witch summed up the spirit stones of the 3 people and found that there were as many as 10,000. Not bad. The little she-devil put away the 5,000 top-grade spirit stones and threw the storage ring back to him. There was no grudge between them before, so Qin Haodong did not make things difficult for them. After the looting, he unsealed the acupoints of the 3 people and then left with the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. Bastard! Jiang Qingzhou angrily punched the big tree next to him, directly breaking the tree into 2 pieces. Song Junyu was also angry. When she saw the little witch summon a sheep, she thought that her side would win. She did not expect Qin Haodong to come up with that kind of operation and directly let the opponent take away her sky-splitting tiger. Moreover, this guy had been hiding his cultivation before, but he was strong to this extent. But a loss was a loss. Qin Haodong won with his strength, so there was nothing they could do. They could only think of robbing a little more from the other team members. As soon as they left, Shui Pan and He Kaishan arrived. Seeing the blood left by the little sheep, He Kaishan said, "Brother Shui, there is the breath of a magical beast here. It should be left by the little witch using the summoning skill. It seems that Qin Haodong is not far from here." Shui Pan shouted, "Hurry up." The three of them quickly chased in the direction Qin Haodong left. They were trying to find the traces left by him when suddenly a strong aroma floated over. He Kaishan sniffed hard and cried, "It smells so good." It had been more than half a day since they entered the Nightmare Grand Canyon. At this time, the three of them were a little hungry. Shui Pan said, "It's the fragrance of barbecue. It seems that Qin Haodong has not changed. He can't forget to eat wherever he goes." He Kaishan said, "That's good. It won't be difficult for us to find them again." Shui Pan nodded and the three of them followed the smell of barbecue. Chapter 901. The three of them were all in the void training realm, so they could cover the distance of a few hundred meters in an instant. This was an open space of about 100 square meters, and there was a gurgling stream next to it. It looked like a good view. There was an oven at the side of the neighborhood. On top of it, there were chicken wings that had been roasted to a golden color, fragrant lamb skewers, and some other mushrooms, vegetables, and the like. Other than that, there was no one else. Shui Pan scolded angrily, "This cunning kid runs really fast." Another companion said, "Brother Shui, should we chase after them?" Before Shui Pan could speak, He Kaishan said, "Boss Shui, we're not in a hurry to chase after them. This kid's chicken wings are really good. Why don't we eat some before we leave?" As he spoke, he took the chicken wings and kebabs off the oven. The aroma was even stronger. Although he was a cultivator, he had never seen such delicious food in so many years. He couldn't help swallowing his saliva and said, "This kid's cooking is really good." Shui Pan looked at the golden chicken wings and kebabs and couldn't help but want to eat. However, he still said cautiously, "You have to be careful. This guy might have done something to the barbecue." He Kaishan took out something about 20 centimeters long and as thick as a finger from his storage ring. It was shining with a green halo. "Boss Shui, don't worry. I have a magic treasure that can detect poison. As long as it's poisonous, it will immediately glow red when it touches it." As he spoke, he used the magic treasure in his hand to detect the chicken wings and kebabs. The magic treasure was still shining with green light and there was no change. "Boss Shui, don't worry and eat it. There's nothing wrong with it. They must have just roasted it and ran away when they saw us coming. They didn't have time to poison it." He Kaishan said as he gave the kebabs to Shui Pan and another companion. Then, he held a chicken wing and ate it. Shui Pan also agreed with him and no longer had any doubts. He took the kebabs and ate them one after another. Another companion took a bottle of beer on the ground and said to He Kaishan, "Brother He, try it and see if there's any poison in it." He Kaishan put the magic treasure into the bottle and quickly pulled it out. There was still no sign of poison. "Don't worry and drink it. There won't be any problems." He Kaishan grabbed a bottle of beer and took a big gulp. After putting down the bottle, he couldn't help but praise, "Boss Shui, have a taste of this wine. It's really good. I've never tasted such good wine in so many years." With that, he drank the rest of the beer in one gulp. Shui Pan and his companion didn't hesitate either. They held a skewer in one hand and a beer in the other, eating happily. The three of them sat in the oven and gorged themselves. Soon, they finished all the food left by Qin Haodong and drank all the bottles of beer. He Kaishan wiped his mouth and said, "It's delicious. It's really delicious. I've never eaten something so delicious. Since it's delicious, pay up." With the teasing voice, Qin Haodong and the little witch walked out of the dense forest nearby. "Qin brat, you still dare to come? See how I'll deal with you." He Kaishan jumped up from the ground and wanted to attack Qin Haodong. But just after taking 2 steps, his feet went soft and he fell to the ground with a plop. Xue Pan was shocked and quickly ran his genuine qi, but found that there was no movement in his dantian. He shouted, "Oh no, we've been poisoned." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "What else do you think? I have nothing to do, so I barbecued meat for you to eat. And the beer, it's good to drink, isn't it? But my fee is very high. Hurry up and hand over your spirit stones." He Kaishan cried in disbelief, "How could this be? I've already detected it. There's nothing wrong with the food. People like you are really stupid." Qin Haodong said, "There's nothing wrong with the wine and the meat, but there's something wrong with the wine and the meat. I don't know if you've heard of mixed poisons. This kind of poison can't be detected alone, and it won't cause any harm to the human body. But if 2 kinds of poisons come together, it'll be very interesting. I already knew that you wouldn't be easily fooled, so I used this special mixed poison method to tamper with the barbecued meat and the beer. Who told you to be greedy? You should pay the price for being greedy. Little brother is right. Who told you to be greedy?" The little she-devil jumped and ran over. First, she pinched Xue Pan's face fiercely, and then reached out to take off his storage ring. Then, the storage rings of He Kaishan and another student were also looted by her. "Little brother, these 3 guys are very rich. They have more than any of the people we robbed before." The little she-devil found 20,000 top-grade spirit stones in the storage rings of the 3 people. Xue Pan cried, "Half of them are my personal property. I didn't rob them. You can't touch them." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "The academy doesn't seem to have such a rule. As long as you have the spirit stones on you, they are my spoils of war." After that, he took away the 10,000 top-grade spirit stones and threw the rest of the storage rings back to the 3 people. Seeing that half of the spirit stones that he had tried his best to rob were taken away, He Kaishan's heart was bleeding, but there was nothing he could do. Suddenly, he had an idea. He put on an indignant expression and shouted, "Boy, you're ruthless. But what can you do? You can only take half. The rest must be left for me. If you have the ability, you can take it all." Surnamed He, "Do you think I don't dare?" The little she-devil stepped forward and was about to rob He Kaishan's storage ring again. Qin Haodong hurriedly pulled her back. "Little brother, don't stop me. I have to teach this arrogant guy a lesson." The little she-devil said angrily. "Don't be impulsive. If you want to rob his money, you will fall into his trap." Qin Haodong said, "Have you forgotten the academy's rules about the big hunting match? You can only take half of the spirit stones each time you rob. If we take all his spirit stones, not only will we have to return them, but we will also be disqualified from the big hunting match." He had more than 500 years of life experience. How could he not see that this was He Kaishan's trick? He wanted to provoke them first and then make them break the rules. Hearing what he said, the little she-devil also came to her senses. She stepped forward and kicked He Kaishan's butt. "I'll kick you to death, you bad guy." He Kaishan's eyes flashed with disappointment. The young man in front of him was meticulous and did not have any impulsiveness that belonged to his age. He actually saw through his trick at a glance. Although he had been seen through, he still cried out, "You don't have the guts. If you have the ability, take all my money." Qin Haodong squatted down and looked at him with a smile, "Don't worry, I won't let you down. Although I dare not touch your money, there are others. And the effect of my mixed poison is 24 hours. Within 24 hours, you will not have any ability to move. In less than half a day, the match will be over. At that time, you will violate the rules and fail to return. None of the spirit stones in your pockets will be left. They will be confiscated by the academy." He Kaishan was completely dumbfounded. If what Qin Haodong said was true, then they would lose everything in this big hunting match. Qin Haodong looked at him with a perfect smile, stood up, and laughed at the surrounding forest. There are 3 fat sheep here. If you want money, come quickly. If you're late, you won't have any left. His laughter was filled with true force and resounded through the forest. It could be heard from dozens of miles away. Xue Pan's expression changed. According to the Academy's rules, only half of the spirit stones could be taken from each robbery. However, if people came one after another, they would not be able to resist the poison. They would not have many spirit stones left. Senior brother, I'm coming. Just as Qin Haodong's laughter stopped, Fang Qiong, Yun Qianqian, and the others rushed over. He smiled at the 2 of them and said, "You guys go ahead. Don't be shy. We'll be leaving first." After saying that, he left with the little she-devil and Zhao Xingyue to prevent them from being accused of colluding with each other. After they left, Yun Qianqian and the other 2 did not hesitate to rob Xue Pan and the others again, leaving only a quarter of the spirit stones in their rings. As soon as they left, Yun Xiang also rushed over with his people. Ever since he met Qin Haodong, Yun Xiang had thought of a way to follow behind them. This way, he could avoid a lot of obstacles and sometimes, he could even pick up the fat sheep that fell on the road. Now that he saw the poisoned Xue Pan and He Kai Shan, he happily walked up to them. "You 2 are really brainless. Of all people to provoke, you actually dared to provoke my brother-in-law. Now you've suffered." After saying that, he took off Xue Pan's ring and took half of the spirit stones without hesitation. Looking at Yun Xiang and the other 2 leaving, Xue Pan was so angry that his eyes were spitting fire. "Qin Haodong, you little ****, just you wait. I'm not done with you." However, before he could finish cursing them, another group of new students rushed over and took away half of the spirit stones in their rings. Just like that, wave after wave of robberies came. Although half of the spirit stones were left every time, there were not many spirit stones left in Xue Pan and He Kai Shan's rings. Moreover, the competition was about to end, and their bodies still had not recovered. The consequences could be imagined. Qin Haodong and the other 2 had gained a lot along the way. The little witch said excitedly, "Brother Qin, there are a total of 10 groups of old students, and we've already robbed 8 groups. It's not easy for us to rob Sister Yun and the others, so only Murong Jinghong and Xiao Yulong's group are left." Zhao Xingyue said, "It's strange. Why haven't we seen Murong Jinghong and Xiao Yulong along the way? Where are they hiding?" Hearing this, Qin Haodong also realized that something was wrong. Murong Jinghong's group was the strongest, so they should have robbed the most spirit stones. But his group did not encounter Murong Jinghong, and the others were not robbed by Murong Jinghong. This was strange. Could it be that they had given up on this competition? Thinking of this, he shook his head. As the number 1 expert in the academy, Murong Jinghong naturally had his own pride. Since he had participated in the competition, he would not easily give up. Moreover, it was a group of 3 this time. Even if Murong Jinghong wanted to give up, Xiao Yulong and the other person would not agree. That was the problem. There were only a few hours left in the competition, but they had not made a move yet. There must be a conspiracy behind it. At the end of the Nightmare Grand Canyon, 3 students in black uniforms stood at the entrance with their hands behind their backs. They were Murong Jinghong, Xiao Yulong, and another student. Chapter 902. The Nightmare Grand Canyon was shaped like a big spindle, with a wide middle and pointed ends. Murong Jinghong and Xiao Yulong were standing on the only way to the exit. If they wanted to end the big hunting match and return to the school's registration office, they had to pass through here. Xiao Yulong said with a proud face, "Fairy Murong, my method of waiting for the hare to come to us isn't bad, right? We'll just stand here and wait for the enemy to exhaust themselves. Everyone who passes by here can steal half of their spirit stones. When the time comes, the first place will definitely belong to us." Murong Jinghong nodded. Although she didn't like Xiao Yulong very much, she had to admit that it was a good idea. It would save them a lot of effort, and they could achieve their ultimate goal. No matter who robbed the most spirit stones, they would have to hand over half of it. The time of the competition passed slowly, and the sun rose the next morning. 3 figures appeared at the entrance of the Devil Grand Canyon. It was Yun Qianqian and Fang Qiong'er's team. After robbing Xue Pan and the others, they counted their spirit stones and found that they had gained a lot, so they didn't waste any time in the canyon and went straight back. They didn't expect to meet Murong Jinghong and Xiao Yulong at the entrance of the canyon. Fang Qiong'er and Yun Qianqian were very smart, and they immediately understood what was going on when they saw the value of these 3 people. No wonder they didn't see the strongest team in the canyon. It turned out that they were waiting here. Seeing Fang Qiong'er's stunned look, Xiao Yulong said proudly, "You 2 beauties, you didn't expect this, did you? Are you surprised? We've known each other for many years, so we won't make things difficult for you. You can pass through here if you hand over half of the spirit stones." Fang Qiong'er shouted angrily, "Don't even think about it. We worked so hard to get the spirit stones. Why should we give you half?" Xiao Yulong said, "Why? Do you think you can fight against us with just the strength of me and Fairy Murong?" Yun Qianqian said, "We won't know who is stronger until we fight." Xiao Yulong said, "You won't give up until you see the coffin. Since you want to fight, let's fight." After saying that, he walked toward Fang Qiong'er. In his previous impression, Fang Qiong'er was only at the mid-stage of the void refinement realm, far from being a match for him. But after the fight, he was shocked. After eating the void-breaking elixir, Fang Qiong had reached the late stage of the void training realm, which was the same level as him. Moreover, in terms of martial arts attainments, she was not any weaker. The 2 of them were locked in a fierce battle. Seeing that a battle was inevitable, Murong Jinghong faced off against Yun Qianqian, while the other student in Fang Qiong'er's group also began to fight. Although Yun Qianqian had also taken a void-breaking pill, she had only been in the early stages of the void refinement realm. Now, she had just entered the middle stages. As the number 1 expert of the Black Tortoise Institution, Murong Jinghong had already reached the great circle of the void refinement realm, so there was no suspense in their battle. After 3 moves, Murong Jinghong's palm landed on Yun Qianqian's shoulder, knocking her to the ground. Although she was unwilling, Yun Qianqian still said, "I admit defeat." At the same time, the other student on their side also lost to an old member of Murong Jinghong's group. Although Fang Qiong'er's side was locked in a fierce battle, seeing that her 2 companions had lost, and the number 1 expert, Murong Jinghong, was standing next to them, she knew that she would definitely lose if she continued to fight. She could only sigh and step back, throwing the storage ring in her hand to Murong Jinghong. Soon, half of their spirit stones were taken, and they walked out of the valley, becoming the first team to finish the competition. Then, the other team members returned to the valley one after another. Seeing that the powerful Fang Qiong'er and Yun Qianqian had been defeated, the others also lost the courage to resist and obediently handed over their spirit stones. It was useless to resist, since they could still keep half of their spirit stones. Seeing that there were more and more spirit stones in the storage ring, Xiao Yulong grinned from ear to ear. Seeing that there was only a quarter of an hour left before the end of the competition, all the participants, except for Qin Haodong's group, returned to the valley. Even the poisoned Xue Pan and He Kai Shan returned with the help of Zhao Kai and Gao Haisheng's group. Although there were not many spirit stones left in the storage ring, it was much better than lying in the forest and embarrassing themselves. Xue Pan chose a rock and sat down. Seeing Murong Jinghong and Xiao Yulong blocking the entrance of the valley, he said angrily, "Qin Haodong, although you stole my spirit stones, I want to see how you will be defeated by Fairy Murong." In his opinion, no matter how strong Qin Haodong was, he could not be stronger than Murong Jinghong. Moreover, this was the only way, so it was inevitable that he would be robbed. Although he did not manage to steal a single spirit stone from Qin Haodong, it was still a pleasant thing to see him get robbed. Seeing that the last team had not returned yet, the others also began to talk among themselves. What's going on? Why is that kid not back yet? Is he afraid after seeing Fairy Murong? It's useless to be afraid. There's only 15 minutes left. If he continues to hide, the academy will confiscate all of his spirit stones. This kid stole all of our spirit stones, but in the end, he still has to obediently hand over half of them to Fairy Murong. Most of the older students present had been robbed by Qin Haodong before, so they were all indignant. They all waited here to see him suffer. Finally, when there were only 10 minutes left, Qin Haodong and the little she-devil trio walked out from the canyon. Xiao Yulong took 2 steps forward and said with a proud expression, "Kid, it's useless to hide. Quickly hand over the spirit stones in your hands." Qin Haodong glanced at him and said with a smile, "I've already seen you guys robbing other students here. Do you know why we only came out now?" Xiao Yulong smiled disdainfully, "Why else? You must have been scared out of your wits by me and Fairy Murong." The other onlookers also began to make a ruckus, venting the dissatisfaction in their hearts. "Kid, stop talking nonsense. Quickly hand over all of your spirit stones. You guys were robbing me just now, but I'm also being robbed now. Fairy Murong is ranked first, and Xiao Yulong is ranked third. What do you guys have to compete with them? Quickly hand over your spirit stones." Qin Haodong ignored those people and said indifferently, "The reason why I only came out now is so that you guys can rob more spirit stones for us." "Shameless, you're really too shameless. What do you mean? Can he rob Fairy Murong's spirit stones? Isn't that a joke?" As soon as he finished speaking, there was an uproar in the surroundings. Facing the combination of Murong Jinghong and Xiao Yulong, no one was optimistic about their team. Xiao Yulong said proudly, "Did you hear that? If you know what's good for you, quickly hand over your spirit stones. Stop dreaming. We'll show you our strength now." After Qin Haodong finished speaking, he pulled Zhao Xingyue to the back and said to the little she-devil, "Hong Ying, sorry to disturb you. What the f***ck, can't this guy be any more shameless?" After talking for so long, he retreated and let a woman take the lead. "I don't think he has any other choice but to rely on the little she-devil's summoning technique. Don't be noisy. Let's see what the little she-devil can summon this time." Everyone looked at the little she-devil, who had already taken out the crystal ball. The living spirit gate slowly opened in the hexagram. Seeing that the little she-devil had completed the summoning technique, Murong Jinghong, who had been silent all this while, became serious. After all, the little she-devil's summoning technique was full of uncertainty. If she really summoned a magical beast of a higher level, she wouldn't be able to deal with it. The living spirit gate opened, and a few black shadows flashed out. They were the Cerberus, a 6th-grade magical beast. 4 Cerberus scuttled out of the living spirit gate. Each of them had 3 large heads, and their 6 blood-red eyes scanned the front. After seeing them, Murong Jinghong felt relieved. With the divine artifact in his hand, as long as it wasn't a 7th-grade magical beast, it wouldn't pose any threat. The little she-devil was slightly disappointed, but a 6th-grade magical beast was much stronger than a little lamb. She commanded the Cerberus to pounce at the 3 people in front of her. The Cerberus was considered one of the stronger 6th-grade magical beasts. Its strength was at least equivalent to a late-stage void refinement cultivator. After the senior members of Murong Jinghong's group fought against the Cerberus, they suffered a great loss in just 1 round. One of their heads tore off a piece of flesh from their arm. Xiao Yulong was facing a Cerberus alone, and he could only barely protect himself. He couldn't gain any advantage. At the crucial moment, a golden light flashed in Murong Jinghong's hand, and the startling sword on his back was unsheathed. The startling sword was one of the few divine artifacts in the Lingwu continent, and its power was unparalleled. The other two Cerberus had just pounced at her when they were cut in half by the startling sword in her hand. Fresh blood splattered on the scene. Seeing that the startling sword had killed the two ferocious Cerberus, the crowd cried out in surprise. As expected of the startling fairy. The Cerberus is no match for her, first place is first place. It seems that the little she-devil is going to lose this time, Qin Haodong sighed when he saw the scene in front of him. If the little she-devil could deal with the three people in front of her, then he wouldn't have made a move. After all, the explosive yuan pill was his secret, and the later it was revealed, the better. However, it seemed that this wish would be difficult to achieve. Just as he was sighing, Murong Jinghong killed the remaining two Cerberi. Her cultivation had already reached the peak of the void refinement realm, and with the power of the startling sword in her hand, these sixth-grade magical beasts could not withstand a single blow. Seeing the four Cerberus die just like that, the little she-devil stomped her feet in anger, but there was nothing she could do. Xiao Yulong put away the long sword in his hand and said proudly, "How is it? Now you know how powerful we are. Hurry up and hand over the money." The little she-devil curled her lips and said, "What's there to be proud of? You're not the powerful one. You can't even defeat one of my dogs." Xiao Yulong's face immediately turned red with shame. If it weren't for Murong Jinghong's help, he would at most be tied with the Cerberus. As if sensing the sarcastic gazes around him, he shouted angrily, "Little girl, I'll let you have a taste of my power today." After saying that, he grabbed the little she-devil with his palm. Without the summoning technique, the little she-devil was at most at the late soul transformation realm. This kind of cultivation was nothing in his eyes, so his palm was unscrupulous and extremely arrogant. However, at this moment, a powerful aura soared into the sky, so much so that Xiao Yulong almost couldn't breathe. A white palm grew bigger and bigger in front of him, and then a crisp slap resounded through the valley, sending Xiao Yulong flying backward. The sudden change shocked everyone. Xiao Yulong was an expert at the late void refinement realm. How could he be slapped away like a fly? Chapter 903. Xiao Yulong himself was also dumbfounded. Before he could figure out what was going on, he was beaten until his mouth was full of blood and two of his teeth had fallen out. Feeling the astonished and mocking gazes around him, he suddenly flew into a rage out of humiliation. He jumped up from the ground and once again pounced on Qin Haodong. This time, he used all his strength. Although he did not hold back, the result was the same. He was once again slapped away without any hesitation. Xiao Yulong's face was full of shock and anger. Although Qin Haodong's performance was excellent, he had never taken him seriously. As the third-ranked expert in the academy, he had his own pride. He thought that as long as he made a move, dealing with Qin Haodong would be as easy as eating and drinking. But the situation in front of him completely subverted his understanding. In front of Qin Haodong, he was like a child without any ability to resist. No, there are so many people watching. Moreover, it's in front of Murong Jinghong. I can't fall like this. Clenching his teeth, Xiao Yulong once again pounced on Qin Haodong. This time, he was not slapped away again. Instead, he was kicked to the ground. Qin Haodong raised his leg and stepped on his back, sealing several acupoints. He said to the little she-devil, "Hurry up and take back all our money." "Okay, little brother, I'm the best at this kind of thing." The little she-devil was now enjoying the process of snatching. She ran over happily and snatched Xiao Yulong's storage ring. She excitedly counted the spirit stones inside. Everyone present was completely dumbfounded. Their mouths were wide open and there was not the slightest sound. Was this still a duel between experts? It was simply a one-sided beating. Who was Xiao Yulong? He was the third strongest expert in the academy and the idol of thousands of girls. How could he lose to a freshman like this? Moreover, he lost without any face and without any suspense. Since the opening of the Black Tortoise Academy, such a thing had never happened. Was this young man trying to defy the heavens? Qin Haodong was not too surprised by this result. Originally, he was the first group to reach the valley entrance. But when he saw Murong Jinghong and the other two blocking the entrance, he immediately changed his mind. He found an extremely hidden cave nearby and began to break through. Originally, he had already accumulated 80,000 top-grade spirit stones. Adding the 20,000 top-grade spirit stones from the school, and more than 30,000 top-grade spirit stones that he had snatched in the big hunting match, he had a total of 130,000 top-grade spirit stones. As a precaution, he took out all of his spirit stones and began to make a breakthrough to the late stage of the void tempering stage. The result was both within his expectations and a little beyond his expectations. He had indeed advanced to the late stage of the void refinement stage, but the consumption was far greater than he had imagined. Not a single one of the 130,000 top-grade spirit stones was left. This result made Qin Haodong a little speechless. After all, Zhao Xingyue and the little she-devil had a share of the 20,000 top-grade spirit stones issued by the academy and the 30,000 spirit stones they had robbed later, but now they were all used up by him. In order to express his apology, he could only snatch Murong Jinghong and Xiao Yulong's jade stones and give them to the two of them. Moreover, such a large consumption of spirit stones was giving him a headache. He had just reached the late stage of the void refinement realm, and he had already used up 130,000 top-grade spirit stones. How many would he need to reach the peak stage of the void refinement realm? 1 million, 1. 3 million, or 2 million. However, he did not have much time left. Now was not the time to think about the future. His top priority was to finish the big hunting match, so he brought the three of them to the entrance of the valley. In order to end the battle quickly, he took another minor yuan detonation pill and directly raised his cultivation to the peak stage of the void refinement realm. With his cultivation and the strength of the evergreen longevity body, he was originally invincible among his peers. Now that he had crushed Xiao Yulong by a level, it was naturally as easy as beating a child. There was no doubt about the result. The minor yuan detonation pill only lasted for 10 minutes, so Qin Haodong did not have any time to waste. After dealing with Xiao Yulong, he immediately turned to look at Murong Jinghong. "Fairy Murong, make your move." After seeing Qin Haodong's skills, Murong Jinghong's expression was unprecedentedly solemn. As the number one expert in the academy, it was not an exaggeration to say that she had experienced hundreds of battles. However, so far, she had never seen such terrifying skills from any student. Perhaps only the academy's teachers could achieve such a level. She slowly drew the startling sword from her back and said coldly, "Junior brother, this sword is called Startling Sword. Be careful." Qin Haodong put his hands behind his back and said calmly, "Make your move." Murong Jinghong did not waste any more words. With a flick of her wrist, the startling sword in her hand suddenly turned into an overwhelming sword shadow, instantly drowning Qin Haodong's figure. Fairy Murong's startling sword technique is really powerful. That Qin brat is finished. Fairy Murong is indeed Fairy Murong. She is so much stronger than Xiao Yulong. I haven't seen Fairy Murong use her full strength for a long time. Even if Qin Haodong loses, it will be a glorious defeat. Amidst the discussions, the sword light that filled the sky disappeared, and a figure suddenly flew out. When the crowd saw the figure, they were instantly shocked. The person who flew out was Murong Jinghong, and there was a huge footprint on her butt. "Qin Haodong, you bastard." Murong Jinghong turned around, her eyes spitting fire. She could accept defeat. She could only blame herself for being weaker than Qin Haodong. However, she did not expect that the dignified Fairy Murong would have her butt kicked in public. How could she accept this? Qin Haodong held the startling sword in his hand and stood there awkwardly. Murong Jinghong was indeed powerful. She had just given him a great deal of pressure. It was extremely difficult to win without injuring her. In a moment of desperation, he forgot that his opponent was a woman. After snatching the cyan rainbow sword, he kicked her butt. Only now did he realize that this was indeed not appropriate. This is too much. This brat actually kicked my goddess's butt. I'm going to kill him, keep it. Didn't you see that even Fairy Murong was defeated? With your cultivation, what do you have to fight against him? This brat actually defeated Fairy Murong. Doesn't that mean that he is now the #1 expert in our academy? Qin Haodong looked at the furious Murong Jinghong and said embarrassedly, I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to kick you there. You're still saying. At this moment, Murong Jinghong's cheeks were so red that it seemed like blood was about to drip out. Ever since she was a child, she had never been touched there by anyone. I'll stop, Qin Haodong asked, Fairy Murong, are we still going to fight? His minor yuan burst pill only lasted for 10 minutes. It had taken him more than 10 rounds to snatch the startling sword. Now that more than half of the time had passed, he had to hurry. Murong Jinghong gritted her teeth. I'm not fighting anymore. I admit defeat. Return the sword to me. Although she was extremely unwilling, how could she continue fighting after the startling sword was taken away? It was not Fairy Murong's style to pester others. She could also tell that she was indeed no match for her opponent. Furthermore, this guy did not know when to stop, and he might even use some dirty tricks. She could not afford to embarrass herself like that. Seeing that Murong Jinghong admitted defeat, Qin Haodong was overjoyed and quickly returned the startling sword. There were 3 people in this group. Now, one had admitted defeat, and the other was lying on the ground, unable to get up. There was only one member left. But the man was also self-aware. When Qin Haodong looked at him, he immediately took off his storage ring and said, I also give up. What a joke. Xiao Yulong, who was ranked 3rd, was beaten like a dog, and Fairy Murong, who was ranked 1st, was kicked in the butt. With his cultivation, what was there for him to fight? Just like that, Qin Haodong and his team won. They took half of the spirit stones from Murong Jinghong, Xiao Yulong, and that person's storage ring. When they returned to the finish line, the big hunting match officially ended, and they became the final champions. Oh! We're the champions, the little she-devil was extremely excited. She hugged Qin Haodong and kissed his cheek a few times. At that moment, the minor yuan burst pill had lost its effect. He suddenly felt a great sense of weakness, and he was almost pushed to the ground by the little girl. Zhao Xingyue's face was also full of smiles. Although she did not dare to kiss Qin Haodong, she also hugged his arm tightly with a smile on her face. In this big hunting match, she should be the luckiest one. She did not even move a finger, but she won the title of the final champion. Not for anything else, but because she had been following behind Qin Haodong. The onlookers were a little dumbfounded. Before this, everyone thought that the final champion would belong to Murong Jinghong. No one would have thought that the big hunting match would be overturned by a freshman who defeated almost all the powerhouses in the academy. Even Fairy Murong was no match for him. How is this possible? A freshman actually won the big hunting match. Is this a dream? My goddess actually lost. Oh my god, I don't want to live anymore, this kid won the big hunting match. Doesn't that mean that he will be the #1 expert in our academy in the future? The onlookers were completely in chaos. The ones who could not accept this result were Xue Pan and He Kaishan. Originally, they were extremely unconvinced of Qin Haodong's strength. They thought that if they were not poisoned, they would definitely be able to defeat this kid. However, the final result shocked them. Both Xiao Yulong and Murong Jinghong were defeated. This meant that Qin Haodong's strength was enough to crush them. He had been pretending to be weak all along. What was even more bitter was that the two of them had the least spirit stones in their hands. They were the last in the competition. Normally, with their strength, they would not have been reduced to such a state. It was only because of their cheap mouths that they became enemies with Qin Haodong that they ended up in such a miserable state. According to the academy's previous arrangements, everyone returned to the drill ground after an hour. Luo Dongqing once again stepped onto the podium. Students, the Black Tortoise Academy's big hunting match has ended. The new students have given us a pleasant surprise. They actually won the first place, especially Qin Haodong, who performed exceptionally well. He will be our academy's greatest hope in the future. After announcing the results and giving a dignified speech, Luo Dongqing changed the topic and continued, "Now, I have two pieces of news to tell everyone. One is good news, and the other is bad news. The good news is that there has been some movement in the Black Tortoise Kingdom's level 7 pagoda. According to speculation, it will open in 3 days. The Academy is preparing to organize this year's big hunting matches students to go out and gain experience. Their target is the level 7 pagoda. If anyone is lucky enough to obtain a fortuitous encounter in the level 7 pagoda, their cultivation will definitely increase greatly." Hearing this, all the students cheered. It seemed that besides Qin Haodong, everyone knew what the level 7 pagoda was. He pulled the little she-devil beside him and asked, "Do you know what the level 7 pagoda is?" "Of course I do. Don't you know?" The little she-devil only remembered that Qin Haodong grew up in the mountains after she finished speaking. She explained, "The Seven Tribulations Pagoda is one of the most famous training grounds in the Black Tortoise Kingdom. There are countless fortuitous encounters and treasures inside. Entering it will bring you great benefits. Legend has it that the startling sword in Murong Jinghong's hand was obtained by his ancestor from the 5th level of the level 7 pagoda." Chapter 904. Zhao Xingyue added, "Although there are many treasures in the pagoda, there are also many difficulties. Legend has it that the highest level an outsider can reach is the 5th floor. No one has ever been able to reach the 6th and 7th floors." After listening to the two of them, Qin Haodong thought for a moment and asked, "Since the pagoda contains so many treasures and opportunities, I'm afraid we won't be able to get the chance to enter with our cultivations. It will definitely be monopolized by experts with higher cultivations." The little she-devil said, "You don't know about this. The pagoda suddenly appeared 300 years ago. At that time, countless experts rushed to get a share of the loot. However, they didn't expect that the pagoda would have such powerful restrictions. As long as one's cultivation is above the void training stage, they won't be able to enter. Later, after countless tests, everyone discovered that only cultivators below the void training stage were allowed to enter." Qin Haodong said in surprise, "There's such a thing?" Zhao Xingyue said, "The pagoda is a treasure left behind by an unknown senior expert. It appears once every 30 years and only appears for 3 days each time. After 3 days, it will sink into the ground. If one can't return in time, they will be trapped in the pagoda until they die." Because of the dangers in the pagoda, the Black Tortoise Kingdom finally made a rule that only cultivators at the soul transformation stage can enter. If one's cultivation is too low, not only will they not be able to obtain the treasures, but they will also lose their lives. Qin Haodong sighed, "So, the pagoda is a training ground tailor-made for our Black Tortoise Institute." The little she-devil said, "Every time the pagoda appears, the Black Tortoise Institute will send a large number of students to train. However, we aren't the only ones participating. The South Courtyard will also send students. At the same time, some martial artists from the Black Tortoise continent and students from other institutes will also participate, so it won't be easy to obtain the treasures there." Qin Haodong nodded. This newbie like him had finally settled the matter of the pagoda. Luo Dongqing sat on the stage and waited for everyone to finish discussing. She then continued, "That's it for the training. Next, I'll announce another piece of bad news." Hearing that there was bad news to be announced, everyone immediately became nervous again. They stopped their previous discussions and looked at the stage together. Luo Dongqing said, "Recently, traces of the Ghost King sect have suddenly appeared in the Black Tortoise Kingdom. Many cultivators have been killed, so everyone must be extra careful when going out this time. The reason why this year's freshman competition is conducted in small groups is because of the sudden appearance of the Ghost King sect. Therefore, when our students go out to gain experience, they should be in groups of at least 3 people. You can also go in groups of several, but you must ensure your own safety. God, Ghost King sect, why did these damn things suddenly appear again? Wasn't the Ghost King sect destroyed by the combined forces of the 4 great kingdoms? Why did you suddenly come out? Your information isn't accurate. I heard that the Ghost King was only injured last time and didn't die. This time, he must have come for revenge. When the students below the stage suddenly heard this news, they immediately burst into an uproar. They kept whispering to each other, discussing spiritedly. Qin Haodong once again fell into a state of confusion. He still didn't know what was going on with the Ghost King sect. He only heard the little she-devil mention it last time. Seeing his expression, Zhao Xingyue took the initiative to say, the Ghost King sect is the largest evil sect in the Lingwu continent. In fact, they are also martial artists and have nothing to do with ghosts or gods. It's just that every time the people of the Ghost King sect appear, they wear a ghost mask on their face. The sect master is also known as the Ghost King, so they are called the Ghost King sect. The little she-devil said, the people of the Ghost King sect are extremely cruel. As long as a cultivator falls into their hands, they will eventually be sucked dry. That's why the 4 great kingdoms of the Lingwu continent view them as common enemies. Regarding this, Qin Haodong was not surprised. Where there was sunlight, there would be darkness. Where there were martial artists, there would be evil cultivators. Moreover, because these evil cultivators did not walk the normal path, they would always do evil things, so their cultivation increased faster and their strength became stronger. At this time, Luo Dongqing, who was on the stage, said, "Well, today's freshman competition is over. Everyone, go back and have a rest. The students who will go out for training can set off tomorrow morning." The students in the training ground dispersed one after another. Everyone whispered to each other as they walked, discussing the 7-stage pagoda and the Ghost King sect. "Senior brother, congratulations on winning the first place in this competition." Fang Qiong'er ran over with Yun Qianqian and congratulated Qin Haodong. Yun Qianqian said, "Dr. Qin, thank you for your help. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten 3rd place." This time, they had also gained a lot of benefits from following Qin Haodong. Although their overall results were not as good as Murong Jinghong and Xiao Yulong's, it was still considered good. If they hadn't defeated Xue Pan and He Kai Shan, they were afraid that their ranking would have been even lower. Qin Haodong said, "We're all on the same side, no need to be so polite. Let's go to my place, I'll treat everyone to a meal." After saying that, he led everyone back to his dormitory, but as soon as he entered the door, he saw that Luo Dongqing was already waiting in the courtyard. Qin Haodong said, "Dean Luo, what are you doing here?" Luo Dongqing said, "You won the championship, you should at least thank me. The prize is 20,000 top-grade spirit stones." Although he was her grandfather, the little she-devil still said bluntly, "The championship was won by me and my little brother with our strength. Why should I thank you?" Seeing that her granddaughter jumped out to disagree with her again, Luo Dongqing was so angry that she glared at her. "You little girl, what are you talking about? Have you forgotten that I'm your grandfather?" The little she-devil cried, "No matter who you are, you can't bully my little brother. You little girl." He ignored the little she-devil, turned his head and said to Qin Haodong, "Anyway, you made a lot of money today. Shouldn't you treat us to celebrate?" Qin Haodong understood that the old man was here for his wine. "Celebrate. We must celebrate. Let's have dinner soon. You can eat as much as you want." After that, he and the little she-devil set the table together, and then took out a large number of plastic food from the storage ring. There were sausages, chicken wings with soy sauce, braised pig trotters, roast duck and bacon, and everything else. At this time, Luo Dongqing no longer had the reservation of the dean. After taking 2 bites of the pig trotters, she cried, "Not bad, not bad, this thing is really delicious. Little Qin, good wine, take it out quickly." Qin Haodong took out a box of Sword Southern Spring from the ring and threw it to Luo Dongqing. Luo Dongqing quickly opened the package, took out a bottle and drank 2 mouthfuls. "Good wine, it's really good wine. Where did you find so much good wine?" Qin Haodong said, "Why do you care so much? Just drink it." Luo Dongqing said with a smile, "You're leaving tomorrow, and I don't know when you'll come back. Shouldn't you leave a few more bottles for me?" Qin Haodong had no choice but to take out another box of Sword Southern Spring and throw it to him. "Little fellow, this old man thanks you." Luo Dongqing took the wine with a smile and said with regret, "It's a pity that you don't like women. Otherwise, I would marry my granddaughter to you." Qin Haodong was speechless. "Old man, if you say it again, I'll take the wine back." Okay. I'm still very open-minded. It's your freedom to like whoever you like, as long as you don't like me," Luo Dongqing said as she quickly put the wine into the storage ring. Then everyone began to eat and drink. He drank a glass of wine and said, "Little Qin, I'll leave my granddaughter to you this time. You must take good care of her. If anything happens, I'll ask you when I come back." As a grandfather, he knew very well that his granddaughter's summoning skill was not reliable. No matter what she summoned in the college, she would not be hurt. But it was different when she went out. Once the summoning skill failed, her life would be in danger. The little witch said discontentedly, "I'm so powerful. I don't need others to take care of me." Luo Dongqing glared and said, "Your summoning skill is useless. Maybe you can summon something. Is it reliable? What if you summon a little sheep when you face a strong enemy?" The little witch also knew her shortcomings. She snorted coldly and did not speak again. Qin Haodong said, "Don't worry about that. As long as I'm here, Hongying will not be hurt." Luo Dongqing nodded and said, "You're quite talented. Every time you show your strength, it's beyond my imagination. The appearance of the 7-story pagoda is a rare opportunity. You must seize the opportunity to improve yourself. As the saying goes, the more capable you are, the greater the responsibility. You are now the #1 expert in our northern college. In a month, the competition between the northern and southern colleges will be held. You must fight for our college and for us men." Qin Haodong asked, "Is the strength of our northern college inferior to the southern college?" The little witch said, "Of course not. We've been losing for 5 years in a row." Qin Haodong asked in surprise, "Why? Is the strength of the southern college very strong? And what does the competition between our colleges have to do with men?" Before Luo Dongqing could answer, the little witch said with a smile, "Because the deputy dean of the southern college is my grandmother. She is more powerful than my grandfather, so the students she teaches are also more powerful than the students my grandfather teaches." Qin Haodong suddenly realized that the rude old lady was actually the deputy dean of the southern college. No wonder her cultivation had reached the Mahayana stage. Luo Dongqing's old face turned red and she shouted angrily, "Shut up, stupid girl. Our college lost because the students are incompetent. What does it have to do with me?" The little witch said without fear, "It has something to do with you. If you could beat Grandma, our college would have won long ago." Luo Dongqing snorted and ignored his granddaughter. He said to Qin Haodong, "Don't listen to her nonsense, boy. The reason why we have been losing in the past few years is that there are a few monstrous geniuses in the Southern College. But it doesn't matter. The geniuses there were not as monstrous as you when they first entered the college. I believe you can definitely fight for us men." Qin Haodong was secretly amused. The old man refused to admit that he was incompetent, but at the same time, he shouted for him to fight for men. Wasn't this showing that he was hiding something? He said, "Old man, if you want to fight, you can work hard. It has nothing to do with me. I don't plan to participate in the North-South College competition." "Boy, you dare to make me angry." Luo Dongqing's face was livid with anger, but soon his expression changed and he said with a sinister smile, "Boy, are you sure you don't want to participate?" Seeing his sinister smile, Qin Haodong had a bad feeling. He turned to the little witch and said, "What are the benefits of participating in the North-South College competition?" The little witch said, "The top 10 of the North-South College competition can take a bath next to the Black Tortoise Spiritual Spring." Chapter 905. Stop talking nonsense. How can that be called a bath? It's called a spiritual energy bath. Luo Dongqing reprimanded the little witch and then said to Qin Haodong, "Don't you know about the Black Tortoise Spirit Spring?" Qin Haodong's expression changed. "Is the Black Tortoise Spirit Spring the one that caused the extinction of the alien demons?" When he first arrived at the Lingwu continent, Zhao Xingyue once told him that this was originally the territory of the alien demons, but as the spiritual energy increased, a spirit spring was born, which caused the devil qi to disappear completely and the alien demons to be wiped out. Luo Dongqing said, "You're right, it's the Black Tortoise Spirit Spring." Qin Haodong's eyes lit up. "You mean, if I can enter the top 10 of the North-South Academy competition, I can enter the Black Tortoise Spirit Spring?" The main spring of the Black Tortoise Spirit Spring is controlled by the royal family of the Black Tortoise Kingdom. Luo Dongqing said, "But there are many other small spirit springs next to the Black Tortoise Spirit Spring. Although they are not as good as the main spring, they are still full of spiritual energy. If you can enter the top 10 of the North-South Academy competition, you can choose a small spirit spring and soak in it for a day and a night. Don't underestimate these spirit springs. The spiritual energy contained in them is more abundant than the top-grade spirit stones. It will definitely improve your cultivation." In last year's competition, only Murong Jinghong entered the top 10 of our academy. She was at the late stage of the Void Refinement Realm and entered the peak of the Void Refinement Realm after soaking in the Spirit Spring for a day and a night. This shows how powerful the Spirit Spring is. Qin Haodong was overjoyed when he heard about the use of the Spirit Spring. He was worried about the Spirit Stones, but now that he had the opportunity to enter the Spirit Spring, he would naturally not give it up. "Dean Luo, don't worry, I will definitely get a good result for you." Luo Dongqing curled her lips and said, "Didn't you just say that you won't participate in the competition? Anyway, our school has lost for 5 years. It doesn't matter if we lose another year. It's fine if you don't go." I'll definitely go." In order to return to Earth and reunite with his family as soon as possible, Qin Haodong would never give up this opportunity. He quickly took out a box of finjiu from his storage ring. "Old man, this is for you, consider it my apology." Good. Since you're a promising student, I agree to let you participate in the competition." Luo Dongqing's face was originally stiff, but after seeing the wine, she immediately smiled. The next morning, Qin Haodong and the other two were ready to set off. Fang Qiong and Yun Qianqian rushed over before they could leave the house. Fang Qiong said, "Senior brother, can we join your group?" Yun Qianqian said, "After hearing about the appearance of the Ghost King sect, our team member gave up the competition. Now only the two of us are left. Can Qiong and I join you?" Although the opportunities in the 7th level pagoda were tempting, they were also accompanied by great risks. Every year, many students who participated in the training died. This year, the Ghost King sect suddenly appeared, the danger increased even more. Therefore, many of the weaker team members gave up. Fang Qiong's team members were the same. They directly gave up on the trial. According to the Academy's rules, a group could have more people, but it couldn't have less than 3. Fang Qiong and Yun Qianqian had long wanted to team up with Qin Haodong. Now that there was a suitable opportunity, they immediately ran over. Qin Haodong naturally did not object. The 5 of them left the Black Tortoise Academy together. This trial was risky. Originally, he wanted Zhao Xingyue to stay in the academy, but the girl would not let go of his arm. She said that she was more afraid of leaving him alone in the academy. Qin Haodong had no choice but to take her with him. The 7th level pagoda was located in a place called Stupa Mountain. The group headed in the direction of Stupa Mountain. Among the 5 of them, the little she-devil's cultivation was the lowest. She was in the late stage of the divine transformation realm, but she could also fly on a sword. However, after hearing about the Ghost King sect, everyone had been very careful. They did not dare to consume too much of their cultivation and were ready to deal with unexpected situations. Therefore, the group flew very slowly. When it was close to noon, they were thousands of miles away. The little she-devil said, "Little brother, I'm hungry. Let's find a place to eat." Hearing the word eat, the other girls also looked over. Although they were not too hungry, Qin Haodong's food was so delicious that they could not control their mouths. "Well, let's find a suitable place to eat." The group flew forward for a while and saw a small river below, so they landed by the river. When they stopped, they saw that there were already a few people resting there. They were Murong Jinghong, Xiao Yulong, Xue Pan, and He Kaishan from the Black Tortoise region. It seemed that the 4 of them had formed a new group. According to the Academy's rules, they could not wear the Academy's uniform when they went out to avoid unnecessary trouble. Therefore, everyone changed into a new set of clothes. Murong Jinghong changed into a long white dress, looking like a fairy. At this moment, she was sitting on a rock next to them, drinking water and eating a steamed bun. Xiao Yulong and the other 2 sat on a big rock next to them, eating the dry food in their hands. After seeing Murong Jinghong, Qin Haodong was a little embarrassed. After all, he had just kicked her butt. Just as he was wondering if he should eat here, the little she-devil pulled his arm and said, "Little brother, let's eat here. These bad guys are so hungry." Xue Pan and He Kaishan had come to Qin Haodong several times to make trouble, so the little she-devil naturally did not like them. Since she said so, Qin Haodong did not leave. He went to the river to catch 5 big fish, and Fang Qiong'er caught 2 pheasants and 3 hares. Yun Qianshan quickly cleaned up these things by the river. Qin Haodong wrapped the 2 pheasants with lotus leaves and covered them with yellow mud. Then, he dug a hole and buried them in the ground. The little she-devil asked in surprise, "Little brother, what are you doing? Why are you burying the pheasants?" Murong Jinghong and the others were resting while watching what was going on. They were also curious about what Qin Haodong was doing. "You'll know in a moment." After saying that, Qin Haodong set up a bonfire and began to roast the 5 big fish and 3 hares. Soon, the strong smell of roasted meat spread by the river. The little she-devil could not help swallowing and asked, "Little brother, it smells so good. When can we eat it?" "Don't worry, it'll be ready soon." Qin Haodong took out all kinds of seasonings from the storage ring and kept brushing them on the roasted fish and hares, making the smell stronger. Looking at the golden roasted fish and the hares dripping with grease, Xiao Yulong and the others began to swallow their saliva and could no longer swallow the dry food in their hands. Even Murong Jinghong put away the steamed bun in his hand. No one knew whether he was full or the steamed bun was tasteless under the strong smell. Soon, the hares and fish were roasted. Qin Haodong moved the fire away and dug out the 2 pheasants under it. "Little brother, can we still eat them?" The little she-devil looked at the 2 beggars' chickens and asked. "I promise you will want to eat them again after eating them this time." Qin Haodong said and knocked off the yellow mud on the outside of the beggar's chicken. Suddenly, the fragrance of lotus leaves and the aroma of chicken filled the air, revealing the golden chicken inside. "Oh my God, little brother, you're amazing. You can even make the chicken like this." The little she-devil didn't care about anything else. She pulled off a chicken leg and ate it. The other girls also came over, eating the roasted fish, roasted hares, and beggar's chicken while drinking the drinks and beer that Qin Haodong took out. Xiao Yulong, Xue Pan, and the others were drooling, but the three of them had a grudge against Qin Haodong, so it was not appropriate for them to come here and beg for food. Murong Jinghong had already turned around, but the food here was so fragrant that the aroma kept going into her nostrils. Just as she was considering whether to leave, a chicken leg and a golden roasted fish, along with a bottle of Sprite, were sent to her. Murong Jinghong looked up and said, "I can't take your things." Qin Haodong said, "Just take it. The competition is over, and we're all classmates. How about trying my cooking? That's a nice way to put it. She's beautiful. We're also classmates. Why only give it to her?" He Kaishan said with an angry face. As a master in the void training stage, Qin Haodong naturally heard his words clearly. However, this guy had made trouble for him again and again, and his eyes were still full of hostility. Qin Haodong would not give the food he roasted to an enemy. Murong Jinghong hesitated for a moment, but finally shook her head and said, "I can't take it either. Senior Sister Murong, this is my apology to you. Just take it." Qin Haodong was really sorry that he accidentally kicked the girls, but that day. Thinking of what happened that day, Murong Jinghong's face turned red again, and she said discontentedly, "You're talking nonsense again." Qin Haodong said, "Just take the food, and I won't say anything." Although Murong Jinghong was indifferent, the food in front of her was still very tempting to her. She really didn't know how it was made. It was so delicious. "Well, thank you." She thanked him in a low voice and took the food from him. Qin Haodong turned back to his side and sat down with the others to eat. Seeing them eating heartily, Xiao Yulong also took out a piece of dried meat, but he always felt that his meat was like a stone. It was not as delicious as others. Xue Pan glanced at them and said bitterly, "Eat it, you'll choke to death sooner or later." Murong Jinghong took a piece of roasted meat and slowly put it into her mouth. It melted in her mouth, and the fragrance lingered in her mouth. "It's really delicious." She took another bite and happened to hear Xue Pan's words. She couldn't help but frown and ask, "Who are you talking about?" Xue Pan hurriedly said awkwardly, "Fairy Murong, I didn't say you." At this moment, a few black shadows rushed over from afar. "It smells so good. What's so fragrant? I'm dying of craving for it." 5 people quickly descended from the air. The leader was a very hot woman. She was also very sexy and revealing, and her fiery red hair was draped over her shoulders like waves. Behind her were a woman and 3 men, all of whom were about 20 years old. The hot woman sniffed hard after landing. She looked at the roasted meat in Qin Haodong's hands and cried, "Handsome boy, where did you buy this roasted meat? It smells so good." The little she-devil put down a chicken bone that she had finished eating, looked up at the woman, and cried in surprise, "Tu Jiaojiao, it's you." The woman named Tu Jiaojiao also saw the little she-devil. "Luo Hongying, it's you, you unreliable little girl." The little she-devil was suddenly unhappy. She stood up, put her hands on her hips and cried, "Who are you calling unreliable? Believe it or not, I'll summon a dragon to bite you to death." Tu Jiaojiao giggled. "You want to summon a dragon with your unreliable summoning skill? Did you summon this rabbit?" Chapter 906. The little she-devil was about to argue when Qin Haodong asked, "Hongying, do you know each other?" Luo Hongying said angrily, "She's Tu Jiaojiao, the runner-up of the South Campus in the last competition." Qin Haodong glanced at Tu Jiaojiao. Although this woman looked coquettish and sexy, her strength was real. She was at the peak of the void training realm. The people behind her were also at the late stage of the void training realm. It seemed that they were also students who came to participate in the trial. "Brother, your barbecue looks good. Can you sell some to us?" Tu Jiaojiao licked her red lips. Take it if you want. We have more than we can eat anyway. Although these people were from the South Campus, they were also from the Black Tortoise Academy. They were classmates. Therefore, Qin Haodong wasn't stingy. He shook his palm lightly, and a roasted fish, half a roasted chicken, and a rabbit flew over. Thank you, brother. Tu Jiaojiao said politely and reached out to catch them. Although these things were hot, she formed an invisible true qi in her palm. Her skin couldn't feel the slightest heat. She distributed the roasted meat to the people behind her, then grabbed some roasted fish and put it into her mouth. Then, her beautiful eyes widened. Delicious. It's so delicious. I've never eaten something so delicious. After saying that, she no longer cared about being reserved as a beauty and started eating. Bastard, you value a lover more than a friend. Xue Pan cursed in a low voice. He couldn't help but be angry when he saw that Nanyue Academy had meat to eat. He subconsciously thought that Qin Haodong's roasted meat was only for women, but he forgot that they weren't friends at all. At this moment, a few figures came from afar. There were also 5 of them. The leader was a young man in his 20s. Although he looked somewhat handsome, his eyes were extremely fierce and his face was full of arrogance. The few of them stopped by the river. That person first sniffled, then glanced at Murong Jinghong, who was sitting on a big rock, eating grilled fish. He walked over and said, "Fairy Murong, I didn't expect to meet you here." This time, before Qin Haodong could speak, the little demon girl took the lead and introduced, "This is Yu Wanjian, the champion of the last North-South Academy competition. Murong Jinghong has lost to him twice." Tu Jiaojiao overheard the conversation between the two and said, "What first place? Last time, I was careless and lost to him by half a move. If this year's tournament was held, the first place would definitely be mine." Murong Jinghong couldn't help but frown when he saw Yu Wanjian. "What are you doing here? I can't eat when I see you." Although Yu Wanjian was mocked, he wasn't too angry. He sneered, "Murong Jinghong, do you really think that you're a high and mighty fairy? Don't forget the bet between us. You've lost to me twice in a row. If you lose to me again in this year's North-South Academy competition, you'll have to be my girlfriend." Murong Jinghong snorted and said angrily, "Yu Wanjian, stop dreaming. I won't lose to you this year, no matter what. What determines victory or defeat is still strength. It's useless to just rely on anger. That's what you said the last few times." After saying that, Yu Wanjian felt complacent. He turned his head and walked toward Qin Haodong. "Boy, did you roast these roasted meat?" This guy spoke in a condescending tone and was extremely arrogant. Qin Haodong frowned. Before he could speak, the little she-devil said angrily, "Yu Wanjian, my little brother roasted them. How about it? I won't let you eat them. You're so greedy. Your cultivation is not good, but the roasted meat is good." Yu Wanjian said in a particularly overbearing manner, "These roasted meat are all mine. You can roast them yourselves. The money is yours." After saying that, he raised his hand and threw 10 top-grade spirit stones at Qin Haodong's feet. Qin Haodong frowned even more. This guy was really annoying. He said coldly, "If you want to eat it, roast it yourself. I'm not selling it." Yu Wanjian's face instantly turned cold. "Boy, do you know who you're talking to? Don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit." Tu Jiaojiao said discontentedly, "What are you doing? Are you a robber? So what if he doesn't sell it to you?" Yu Wanjian glanced at her and said sarcastically, "Tu Jiaojiao, have you forgotten that we're from the South Courtyard? How could you speak for a gigolo boy? Do you like him?" "I do like him." "So what? It's none of your business." "Tu Jiaojiao, I'm going to teach this boy a lesson today. No one can protect him." Yu Wanjian said to Qin Haodong, "I'm telling you one last time. Give me the roasted meat, or I'll destroy you right now. How dare you? Tu Jiaojiao dropped the roasted fish in her hand and jumped in front of Qin Haodong. Yu Wanjian's expression changed. Tu Jiaojiao, do you really think I don't dare to hurt you? Come on if you can. I'm not afraid of you. Tu Jiaojiao's temper was as hot as her figure. Yu Wanjian was indeed afraid of Tu Jiaojiao. But if he retreated like this, he would lose his face. Just as his expression changed and he was hesitating, a black shadow suddenly rushed over from afar. Help me, with a few shrill cries, the figure quickly fell in front of Qin Haodong and the others. It was a woman covered in blood. It was not appropriate to say that she fell. In fact, she fell on the ground. There were more than a dozen large and small wounds on the woman's body, and her left arm had been completely broken. After landing, her injury was aggravated. She spat out a mouthful of blood and then fainted. Qin Haodong quickly put down the roasted meat in his hand and carried the woman over. He first felt her pulse, then took out the golden needles and quickly pierced them into several major acupoints on her chest. Under the nourishment of the green with genuine qi, the woman immediately opened her eyes and said in a trembling voice, "Run, there's a ghost slave." Hearing the word ghost slave, everyone present changed their expressions. Only Qin Haodong did not understand what it meant. He asked, "What's a ghost slave?" The little witch said, "Ghost slaves are the personal guards of the Ghost King. They not only have high cultivation, but also act extremely ruthlessly." Tu Jiaojiao said, "Ghost slaves usually appear in groups. Let's go, or it will be too late." "Little girl, it's too late." With an arrogant laugh, 12 men in black rushed over and surrounded the people present. These people wore ghost masks on their faces, and their black clothes were embroidered with skull marks. They held huge ghost head knives in their hands, looking extremely gloomy. They were the ghost slaves of the Ghost King sect. Qin Haodong glanced at these people. The 12 people were all at the peak of void training realm. This kind of strength could not be underestimated. The leading ghost slave glanced around with great momentum. When he saw Murong Jinghong, Tu Jiaojiao, and other beauties, he laughed and said, "Brothers, it seems that we are lucky today. I thought I could have a taste of a girl, but I didn't expect to find so many at once. Today we can have a good meal." The other ghost slaves also laughed arrogantly. Murong Jinghong pulled out the startling sword behind him and said coldly, "You people of the Ghost King sect have done a lot of evil in daily life. Get out of here, or we won't be polite. Overconfident woman, how dare you be the enemy of our Ghost King sect? Later, I will let you know what is worse than death." The leading ghost slave waved his hand and said, "Brothers, kill all the men and keep the women. We will have a good time later." After that, he waved the big knife in his hand and chopped at Murong Jinghong. "Go to hell." Facing these ghost slaves, Murong Jinghong was full of killing intent and chopped with the startling sword in his hand. With a crisp sound, the extremely sharp startling sword instantly cut the ghost head knife in the ghost slave's hand into 2 pieces. The leading ghost slave was shocked and shouted to his subordinate next to him, "This woman is powerful. Let's join hands." So another ghost slave jumped over, and the two attacked Murong Jinghong together. The ghost slaves were all at the completion of the void training realm, and their cultivation was similar to Murong Jinghong's. When the two joined hands, they immediately turned the situation around. Murong Jinghong could only rely on the power of the startling sword to keep himself from being defeated. On the other side, Yu Wanjian and Tu Jiaojiao also jumped at these ghost slaves. Both of them were at the completion of the void training realm, and they also fought against 2 ghost slaves at the same time. However, they did not have the startling sword in their hands. If it was 1-on-1, they would have a certain advantage, but when it was 1-on-2, they were immediately at a disadvantage. Among the students present, only these 3 could reach the completion of the Qi refining realm, and the rest were a little worse than the ghost slaves. The 4 students brought by Tu Jiaojiao joined hands to fight against a ghost slave, and the 4 people brought by Yu Wanjian also fought against a ghost slave. Xiao Yulong, Xue Pan, and He Kaishan fought against a ghost slave. The remaining 3 ghost slaves rushed toward Qin Haodong together. Fang Qiong'er and Yun Qianqian shouted, and then they went up to fight against a ghost slave. However, at the level of the void refinement realm, every level of difference would cause a great disparity in cultivation. Even though the 2 of them had joined forces, they were utterly not a match for the ghost slave. They were in a disadvantageous position as soon as they fought, and they were surrounded by danger. Qin Haodong looked around coldly. As long as he ate the great explosive yuan pill, he would instantly reach the late stage of the body synthesis realm, and killing these ghost slaves would be a piece of cake. However, the great explosive yuan pill was his last trump card, and he did not want to use it unless he had to. Moreover, this was not the college, where good and bad people were mixed together, and danger was everywhere. Although eating the great explosive yuan pill was powerful, it would be followed by a period of weakness. At that time, his fate would not be in his own hands. Although he could trust the little she-devil, Fang Qiong'er, and the others 100%, they could not guarantee his safety. After hesitating for a while, he finally swallowed a minor explosive yuan pill and improved his cultivation to the completion of the void training realm. With his ability, he was invincible in the same cultivation. If it was 1 against 1, it would be a piece of cake for him to kill these ghost slaves. However, he did not dare to attack rashly, because he had to protect Zhao Xingyue and the little she-devil behind him. Now there was another injured woman. Once these people were taken as hostages by the ghost slaves, it would be difficult to deal with them. Therefore, he could only stand here to protect the 3 women behind him, and wait for the opportunity to attack. Facing the aggressive ghost slaves, Zhao Xingyue was scared and at a loss. Her 2 small hands tightly grasped Qin Haodong's arm, and her body kept trembling. The little she-devil had already taken out the crystal ball and opened the living spirit gate in the hexagram. Qin Haodong looked up. If the little girl could summon a powerful magical beast this time, the situation would be changed immediately. The living spirit gate opened, and a black shadow rushed out. When Qin Haodong saw it clearly, he was immediately discouraged. The little she-devil had summoned a chubby pig, which had no fighting capacity. Seeing the situation in front of it, the pig seemed to be frightened and rushed to the feet of the little she-devil. "Useless thing, get out of here." Seeing that her summoning technique had failed again, the little she-devil was also furious. She kicked the pig into the living spirit gate. Chapter 907. Qin Haodong was full of helplessness. At this time, there were 3 women behind him. One was seriously injured and could not get up, and the other was trembling with fear. After the summoning failed, the little devil was just an ordinary warrior at the late stage of divine transformation realm. She could not help the ghost slave at the peak of void training realm. The other 2 ghost slaves seemed to see that victory was in their hands. They were not in a hurry. They walked in front of the 4 people in an orderly manner. Looking at the pale Zhao Xingyue, one of the ghost slaves said with a lewd smile, "Little sister, don't be afraid. I will treat you well later and let you know what it means to be in ecstasy." Qin Haodong knew that there were not many chances left for him. He put on a frightened look and said, "Brothers, I really have nothing to do with it. How about I give you all 3 of them and let me go this time?" He originally wanted to confuse the ghost slaves, but his words immediately scared Zhao Xingyue. She panicked and cried, "Brother Qin, please, don't give me to them." Seeing them like this, the 2 ghost slaves suddenly laughed. "Little sister, what's the point of following such a man? He is like a woman in trouble. You'd better follow me. I will show you what a real man is." One of the ghost slaves reached out to grab Zhao Xingyue. In his eyes, he did not take Qin Haodong, who was trembling with fear, seriously. The other ghost slave held the ghost head knife in his hand and looked at the injured woman on the ground fiercely. It seemed that this woman had been included in his kill list. But at this moment, a golden light flashed and pierced the throats of the two ghost slaves in a short moment. The two ghost slaves never dreamed that this man, who was so scared just now, had such a high level of martial arts. They did not even have time to scream and fell to the ground. Feng Qiong'er and Yun Chanshan were fighting with a ghost slave. However, one of them was at the late stage of Void Training Realm, and the other was at the middle stage of Void Training Realm. The two of them together were no match for the ghost slave. After a few rounds, Yun Chanshan, who was weaker, was knocked away by the ghost slave. However, the ghost slave did not kill her because he wanted to do something bad to her. "Little girl, come to my arms." The people of the Ghost King's sect were used to harvesting yin to nourish yang. This guy opened his arms and lunged at Feng Qiong'er. Shocked, Feng Qiong'er tried to slap the ghost slave twice, but her wrists were grabbed tightly by the ghost slave. Just when she was at a loss of what to do, a golden light suddenly flashed by her ear and pierced the throat of the ghost slave like lightning. Feng Qiong'er was stunned at first, then she came to her senses and kicked the ghost slave away. In just 1 second, Qin Haodong killed 3 ghost slaves, which immediately attracted the attention of the ghost slave leader. His eyes flickered as he realized that this young man was the most powerful one here. However, this guy was very cunning. He immediately saw where Qin Haodong was and shouted to his men, "Don't touch that guy. As soon as he leaves, kill the 3 women immediately." The other ghost slaves immediately understood their leader's intention. They bypassed Qin Haodong and started to attack the others. They wanted to kill the others as soon as possible, and then work together to deal with the young man. Holding the Xian Yuan sword, Qin Haodong stood there with a wry smile. In order to protect the 3 women behind him, he dared not leave. But his minor elemental elixir had a time limit, and it would lose its effect after 10 minutes. Although 3 of the 12 ghost slaves had died, they still had an absolute advantage on the battlefield. Among the people present, only Murong Jinghong was barely able to fight to a draw. The others were completely suppressed and were in danger. With a roar, Yu Wanjian's body was cut by the ghost slave with a foot-long wound. Although he tried his best, his attack became weaker and weaker as more and more wounds appeared. After him, Tu Jiaojiao was also hit on the shoulder by the ghost slave, and the attack of the long sword in her hand immediately slowed down. The same was true for the others. Although they were outnumbered, they had no advantage because of the gap in their cultivation. As time went by, they were all wounded. Seeing that the victory was in his grasp, the leader of the ghost slaves shouted proudly, "Don't be stubborn anymore. If anyone wants to leave now, I can let you go, but not the women. You must stay." Murong Jinghong said angrily, "Stop dreaming. We are students of the Black Tortoise Academy. We will not bow to you evil spirits even if we die." But as soon as she finished speaking, someone behind her shouted, "Is what you said true? Are you sure you can let me go?" Hearing someone begging for mercy, everyone looked angrily and found that it was He Kaishan who spoke. He Kaishan ignored the others' gazes and said to the ghost slave leader, "Your Excellency, I am just a student. I have no grudge against you. As long as you can let me go, I will leave immediately and will never be your enemy." Feng Qiong said angrily, "He Kaishan, are you a man? How dare you bow to the people of the Ghost King sect?" He Kaishan had been chasing after her all the time. Although she did not accept him, she did not have much bad feelings for him. But she did not expect that in the face of a strong enemy, this man was so cowardly and begged for mercy to the people of the Ghost King sect. He Kaishan shouted, "You stupid woman, don't you see that we are no match for them at all? If we continue to fight, we will die. Besides, we don't know that woman at all. There is no need to risk our lives for her." The ghost slave leader said, "Yes, a wise man submits to circumstances. You can go now. Thank you, Your Excellency. After saying that, He Kaishan left the battlefield in a flash and quickly fled to the distance. Bah! Shameless thing! Fang Qiong scolded with hatred. Her eyes were full of anger. This is called submissive. The ghost slave leader said to the people present again, who else wants to leave? I promise you will be safe. Murong Jinghong shouted, don't listen to him. He is destroying our morale. As members of the Black Tortoise Academy, we would rather die than bow to the people of the Ghost King sect. Xuepan shouted, Fairy Murong is right. We would rather die than bow to them. The ghost slave leader was wearing a mask and his expression could not be seen, but a cold light flashed in his eyes. Since you want to die, I will send you to hell. Originally, he wanted to reduce his loss, so he used such a trick to sow discord. He did not expect that only one person would leave in the end. The others all had an unyielding spirit. Under the order of the ghost slave leader, they launched another crazy attack, which was much fiercer than before. Qin Haodong hesitated whether he should help or not, but a feeling of weakness came over him. The efficacy of the yuan boosting elixir had lost its effect, so he was in a period of weakness. Although the duration was very short, only a minute or two, it would definitely be fatal if it was discovered. Facing the attack of the ghost slaves, the students of the Xuanwu Academy all showed an unyielding spirit and fought with their lives. But they were still not strong enough. For a while, they were in danger and everyone was injured. If it went on like this, they would definitely lose. Just when Qin Haodong hesitated whether he should take another small yuan boosting elixir, the living spirit gate of the little devil opened again. The living spirit gate also had a rest time of 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, the little devil started her summoning again. Come out, my baby. With the little devil's call, a black shadow flew out of the living spirit gate quickly. Screech, with an earth-shattering eagle cry, a huge thunder eagle appeared in front of everyone. Thunder Eagle, a 7th-grade magical beast, not only had a strong attack power, but also had the ability to control thunder and lightning. My God, I finally succeeded. The little devil shouted excitedly, go and kill them for me. At this time, a ghost slave was reaching out to grab Tu Jiaojiao's chest. Suddenly, a black shadow flew quickly, and the sharp claws broke his skull. At the same time, the huge wings flapped, and the power of thunder and lightning went into the body of a ghost slave next to him. After being hit by the power of thunder and lightning, the ghost slave immediately turned into coke. His body kept emitting black smoke, and he was cut into 2 pieces by the furious Tu Jiaojiao with a sword. Oh no, it turned out to be a 7th-grade magical beast. Run! After seeing the power of the Thunder Eagle, the ghost slave leader ordered and prepared to escape with his subordinates. But the eagle was a 7th-grade magical beast, and it could fly. How could it let them escape? Screech, after another sharp cry, a claw grabbed the head of the ghost slave leader. The ghost slave was already prepared. He quickly dodged to the side and waved the ghost head knife to cut the claws of the Thunder Eagle. But he still underestimated the power of the 7th-grade magical beast in the end. He didn't hurt the Thunder Eagle at all. On the contrary, the claws directly penetrated his chest and grabbed his bloody heart out. Seeing that the leader was dead, the other ghost slaves suddenly panicked. The startling sword in Murong Jinghong's hand flashed, and the head of a ghost slave was cut off. At the same time, Qin Haodong also took out the Xian Yuan sword and killed a ghost slave who escaped from the battlefield. And the remaining ghost slaves all died under the claws of the Thunder Eagle in panic. Because of the little devil's successful summon, the previous battle results were reversed in an instant, and everyone was saved. But this victory was too tragic. Except for a few people around Qin Haodong, the others were slightly or seriously injured. Even Murong Jinghong's chest was cut by a knife. Tu Jiaojiao sat on the ground and gasped for breath. She had just fought with her life on the line. There were at least a dozen wounds on her body, and blood was constantly flowing out from them. She cursed angrily, "These bastards of the Ghost King sect. Next time I meet them, I will cut them into pieces." The little devil sent the Thunder Eagle back to the Living Spirit Gate. She took Qin Haodong's arm and said, "Little brother, how is it? I am awesome, right? Don't make trouble. I will treat everyone first." Qin Haodong walked among the crowd, and his hands were as fast as lightning. Soon, he stopped everyone's bleeding, and then began to treat everyone according to the severity of the injury. The woman who escaped at the beginning was the most seriously injured. Qin Haodong quickly adjusted her injured internal organs with the rejuvenating heaven acupuncture, then connected her arm and treated the wounds on her body with the gold sore medicine. Next was Tu Jiaojiao and the other team members. Even Yuan Jian and Xiao Yulong, who were not on good terms with each other in the past, he did not hesitate to help them. After all, everyone just fought against the Ghost King sect, and they all went all out to fight against the enemy. In the face of the enemy, personal grievances were nothing. The last one was Murong Jinghong. Her injury was not too serious, but the position was a little awkward. Although she was beautiful, Qin Haodong was focused at this time. He did not divert his attention because of the scenery in her chest. Soon, he finished treating the wound. Although his medical skills were superb, he was also very tired after treating so many people at once. After a long breath, he turned around and sat on a big stone to rest. Zhao Xingyue came behind him and obediently massaged his tired shoulders. If you like it, please recommend this website to your friends. Chapter 908. Little brother, I didn't expect your medical skills to be so good. Tu Jiaojiao swayed her sexy body as she walked over. She was very clear about the severity of her injuries. Even if it was the best doctor in the academy, she would probably need to lie in bed for 2 to 3 days before she could recover. If not, her trip to the 7th floor pagoda would be delayed. However, after being treated by the man in front of her, her injuries had been completely healed and were no different from before. Not only her, but the others were also the same. After Qin Haodong's treatment, they quickly recovered. She came closer and said again, "Little brother, thank you." Qin Haodong said politely, "You're welcome. The Ghost King sect is our common enemy. You were injured for everyone just now. Tu Jiaojiao, you don't have to thank him at all." At this moment, a voice full of hatred was heard. Qin Haodong looked back and saw that it was Yuan Jian from the south courtyard. Tu Jiaojiao's face suddenly darkened. "What do you mean? Little brother Qin cured your injuries just now. Shouldn't you thank him?" Qin Haodong also looked over. Yuan Jian's injuries were also very serious. If he hadn't treated him in time, he would have been bedridden for a while even if he hadn't died. At least, he wouldn't have been able to go to the 7th floor pagoda this time. Yuan Jian said coldly, "He did cure our injuries, but have you ever thought about why we were injured?" Tu Jiaojiao said in surprise, "Is there a need to ask?" "We were all injured by the ghost slaves of the Ghost King sect." Yuan Jian said, "Didn't you see that he had a very high cultivation and easily killed the 3 ghost slaves? If he had helped us earlier, we wouldn't have been injured. We were injured because of his cowardice, so we don't have to thank him at all." Tu Jiaojiao said angrily, "What are you talking about? Wasn't little brother Qin protecting the 3 girls just now?" Yuan Jian said coldly, "Protecting them? Are their lives more precious than ours? Are you willing to give up us for them?" "You're right. Their lives are more precious than yours. In my eyes, you're nothing." Qin Haodong was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. He had never seen such an ungrateful person. If it weren't for him and the little demon girl, these people would have become the souls of the ghost slave's knife. But now, they even said such **t reasoning. He said, "If it wasn't for the fact that you were injured fighting against the Ghost King sect, I wouldn't even care if you were dead or alive. Yuan Jian had always prided himself on being the #1 expert in the South Courtyard. Now that Qin Haodong had stolen his thunder, he was naturally dissatisfied. Kid, don't you have any gratitude in your heart? If we hadn't risked our lives to pin down those ghost slaves just now, you would have already died. You still have the cheek to mention gratitude to me. Qin Haodong looked at him coldly and said, I hope you can figure one thing out. Those ghost slaves are not coming for me, and you are not helping me. Moreover, even without you guys here, I can still get rid of those ghost slaves. It was true. If it weren't for the unstable factors like these students of the South Courtyard and Xiao Yulong, he could directly swallow the big boosting yuan pill and kill the 12 ghost slaves with a wave of his hand. There was no need to go through so much trouble. Tu Jiaojiao followed and said, yes, the Ghost King sect is our common enemy. You're fighting for yourself. What does it have to do with Brother Qin? And look at yourself. How many ghost slaves did you kill just now? None of them died, right? Brother Qin killed 4 alone, and the Thunder Eagle summoned by the little girl saved us. I really don't know how you have the face to stand here and boast shamelessly. Yuan Jian's expression froze. He wanted to refute, but he had nothing to say. Just now, he gained nothing except being injured. Humph, you don't know what's good for you. Just wait and see. Even if you die in the hands of the ghost slaves in the future, I won't help you. He said angrily and then left with his people. Bah, what kind of person is he? He's so shameless. If I had known earlier, I would have let the Thunder Eagle scratch his head. The little demon girl looked at his back and said angrily. Actually, I think what he said is a little reasonable. Xiao Yulong came over from the side. The little demon girl suddenly became furious. Xiao, what do you mean? At the same time, the others also looked over with angry faces. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean that guy. Feeling the anger of the crowd, Xiao Yulong quickly explained, I just think that Zhao Xingyue doesn't need to follow our team. And this injured girl, since her injury has been cured, let her leave quickly, or she will become a burden to us when we meet the people of the Ghost King sect. Seeing that this guy was going to drive her away, Zhao Xingyue quickly grabbed Qin Haodong's arm and said, Brother Qin, don't drive me away, okay? Don't worry, you're a member of our team. No one can drive you away. Qin Haodong patted Zhao Xingyue's shoulder to comfort her. He turned back and said to Xiao Yulong, there's one thing you need to understand. Zhao Xingyue is a member of our team. She's not a burden. Xiao Yulong said, Qin Haodong, I know very well that this girl has never made a move since the start of the freshman competition. Just now, when everyone was on the verge of death, everyone did their best. Only she was a bystander at the side. I don't mean anything else. I just think that it's unnecessary for her to follow us. Why don't we send her back to the academy? That way, it'll be good for everyone. We won't have to split up people to protect her, and she'll be safer. Zhao Xingyue's eyes flashed with nervousness. She didn't know what to say. She just hugged Qin Haodong's arm tightly, as if he was her best support. Qin Haodong looked at Xiao Yulong and said, you mean that the weak don't deserve to stay in our team and should be sent back to the academy? Xiao Yulong's expression froze, but he still said, that's right. We're going to the 7th stage pagoda to gain experience, not to play. The weak don't deserve to stay in our team. Qin Haodong smiled coldly, if I remember correctly, the 3 of you together couldn't take down a ghost slave, and you even got yourself covered in scars. From this point of view, are you considered weak? Should we also send you back to the Black Tortoise Academy? What else did Xiao Yulong want to say? Qin Haodong directly waved his hand and interrupted him, saying, don't say any more. There's one thing you need to understand. Zhao Xingyue is my companion, and she has nothing to do with you. Since we're all in the same team, we need to be united, not hate each other. Besides, we're all men, and men are born to protect women. Seeing the man in front of her like a mountain standing in front of her, protecting her, Zhao Xingyue's eyes were filled with tears, and her expression was full of complex emotions. Not only her, but Murong Jinghong, Fang Qiong, and Yun Xianxian also looked at Qin Haodong with shining eyes. Men are born to protect women. It was the first time they heard such righteous words. The little she-devil said, "Little brother is right. Sister Xingyue is a member of our team. No one is qualified to hate her, let alone drive her away." Fang Qiong and Yun Xianxian also came over and said, "Yes, we're a team. There's no hate, only solidarity." Xiao Yulong was embarrassed and said to Murong Jinghong, "Fairy Murong, we've also finished resting. Now it's time to go." Murong Jinghong didn't even look at him, but said to Qin Haodong, "Dr. Qin, can I join your team?" After being kicked in the butt by Qin Haodong yesterday, she was full of resentment, thinking that this man must be a frivolous person. Now it seemed that she was wrong. This man was not frivolous at all, on the contrary, he was extremely steady and magnanimous. There was a charm that other men didn't have, which made her heart, which had been silent for a long time, a little restless. Qin Haodong said, "You can join if you want." A smile appeared at the corner of Murong Jinghong's mouth. "Dr. Qin, thank you." This time, Xiao Yulong and Xue Pan were a little dumbfounded. Originally, there were 4 people in a team, but now He Kaishan ran away and Murong Jinghong, who was the strongest, joined Qin Haodong's team. What should they do? Just now, they had also seen the power of the Ghost King sect. In this case, it would be safer if more people huddled together. After hesitating for a moment, Xue Pan said with a little embarrassment, "Can we also join?" Qin Haodong thought for a moment and said, "You two are not suitable to join our team. But since you are all students of the same academy, I can take you two with me. But don't make any trouble, or don't blame me for being rude." Xiao Yulong and Xue Pan were full of unwillingness. In the past, they were the top 10 masters of the academy and were superior among the students, but now they had to bow their heads to a freshman. But there was no other way, they could only nod. Tu Jiaojiao said, "Brother Qin, we can't join your team, but let's go together. As everyone saw just now, the people of the Ghost King sect may appear at any time. It's really not safe if there are fewer people." Qin Haodong nodded. Everyone ended the break and rushed to the direction of Stupa Mountain together. When it was close to evening, they chose a flat spot to set up camp. Before Qin Haodong could speak, everyone caught pheasants, hares, and salted fish from the river and placed them in front of him for him to cook. Tu Jiaojiao said, "Brother Qin, hurry up. I didn't eat enough fish at noon. Hurry up and cook more for everyone." Qin Haodong nodded helplessly. It seemed that these people were a little addicted to eating. After dinner, everyone took out the tents in the rings and began to set up camp here. Zhao Xingyue took Qin Haodong's hand and said with a complicated expression, "Brother Qin, am I useless? Did I cause you a lot of trouble?" Qin Haodong said, "What's wrong? Don't mind what those people say. You are you, and no one can replace you." Zhao Xingyue said, "But after we met, we have been troubling you, using your money and asking for your help, including in this freshman competition. I didn't contribute at all, but I won the championship." Qin Haodong looked into her eyes and said, "What you lack now is courage, but I believe that you will grow up. Sooner or later, you will become a brave person. But I don't quite believe it myself. I am so timid that I am afraid of everything. It doesn't matter. I believe that you will change in the future." Qin Haodong helped her tidy up her messy bangs and said, "Go. You've been tired all day. Go to sleep." He sent Zhao Xingyue into the tent of the little witch and then turned back to his own tent. Just as he lay down, suddenly a fragrant wind hit his face. Tu Jiaojiao, dressed in red, came in from outside. Chapter 909. The woman's sudden arrival surprised Qin Haodong and he asked, "Why are you here?" Tu Jiaojiao smiled and said, "I'm here for sex." Qin Haodong said, "Stop it. Let's talk about it tomorrow." Tu Jiaojiao adjusted her body and lay down next to Qin Haodong. She said to him with a fragrant breath, "I'm such a beautiful woman. Aren't you interested in me? You know, there are countless men who want to pursue me in our college." Qin Haodong didn't doubt her statement. This woman was indeed beautiful, sexy and hot. She was the dream image of countless men. But now he was focused on cultivation and only wanted to return to Earth as soon as possible. He didn't want to provoke too many women, so he said, "I'm sorry, senior. I'm a little special. I only like men, not women." "You like men? Really? You're not lying to me, are you?" Tu Jiaojiao's face flashed with a touch of surprise. "Of course I'm not lying. Everyone in our college knows that." Tu Jiaojiao's body quickly calmed down and she said with a smile, "Little brother, although you are very handsome, it's not right to play tricks on me." Qin Haodong said with some guilt, "I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth." "Is it really the truth? But when you were treating Murong Jinghong today, why did you look at his chest differently? If you really like men, how could you look like that?" Qin Haodong was originally a fake gay man. He was speechless for a moment. He didn't expect this woman to be so observant. But then he gritted his teeth and said, "I'm not lying. Otherwise, how could I not be tempted when I see such a beautiful woman like you? Are you not tempted or do you not want to show it? I want to test it." Tu Jiaojiao said as she reached out and unbuttoned her collar, revealing a large area of snow-white skin. For a moment, the small tent was full of spring. Qin Haodong didn't expect this woman to do this. He asked a little nervously, "What are you going to do?" "Nothing, I'm just checking if you're lying." Tu Jiaojiao smiled again and reached out to touch Qin Haodong's cheek. Then she looked down at the key parts. "Ha! Ha! Ha!" Tu Jiaojiao giggled, "Little brother, the evidence is conclusive. What else do you have to say? If you really like men, why are you behaving like this?" Qin Haodong was so embarrassed. He hadn't touched a woman for a long time after he left Earth. Now that he was being seduced by such a sexy beauty in the tent, he unconsciously had a reaction. It seemed that passion could not be faked. He took a deep breath, suppressed his surging emotions, and asked, "What do you want to do by coming to my place in the middle of the night?" Tu Jiaojiao said, "If I said I was just curious about you, would you believe me? I'm just an ordinary man, what's there to be curious about?" "Ordinary? I don't think so. If he was an ordinary person, how could he say that men are born to protect women?" At this point, the smile on Tu Jiaojiao's face disappeared, and she became extremely formal. "What's wrong with that? Am I wrong?" Qin Haodong didn't expect that an ordinary sentence on Earth would bring him such a great beauty. Tu Jiaojiao sighed and said, "Do you know how I embarked on the road of cultivation?" Qin Haodong shook his head, and Tu Jiaojiao didn't seem to want to get an answer from him. She continued, "In the Lingwu continent, except for cultivators, women have no status to speak of. In the eyes of many people, women are just accessories, products of pleasure, and their status can't be compared with that of men. My mother was a woman with a hard life. She was taken home by my father, and she was not happy all her life. I wanted to have my own life, so I embarked on the road of cultivation." "Oh." Qin Haodong nodded. He was not surprised about this. Thousands of years ago, the status of women in Wuxia was also extremely low, but in recent years, there had been earth-shaking changes. In the academy, there were many men who pursued me, but I didn't accept any of them. Many people have asked me in private what kind of man I want to find. Do you want to know the answer? It seemed that this woman never had the habit of asking people to answer her questions. She immediately continued, the only requirement I have for a man is that he should respect women from the bottom of his heart. Only when you respect women will you feel pity for them, and only when you feel pity for them can you be happy. Qin Haodong said, this requirement should be very simple. It's not simple at all. At least, I haven't found any before today. Tu Jiaojiao regained her previous smile, although a lot of men flatter me, I can see that they can't treat women equally in their hearts. It's the first time I've met someone who treats women equally like you. Well, the sudden topic made Qin Haodong speechless for a while. Tu Jiaojiao said slyly, how about it? Do you want to pursue me? As long as you are willing to pursue me, I might agree. Qin Haodong said embarrassedly, well, not yet. You're really an unromantic blockhead. Tu Jiaojiao glared at him charmingly. You won't eat the meat that's sent to you. You'll regret it later. I just want to find someone to talk to. Now I feel much better. I'm leaving. After that, she got up and got out of the tent, leaving only a faint fragrance. Qin Haodong shook his head. This woman looked sexy and hot, but in fact, she was still a virgin. She actually came to tease him. Just as he was feeling speechless, the tent door was opened again from the outside, and a beautiful figure got in with a smile. Little brother, I'm here. Seeing the charming face of the little she-devil, Qin Haodong said, what are you doing here instead of sleeping at night? Am I not sleeping or are you not sleeping? The little she-devil said with a smile, I just saw Tu Jiaojiao go out of your tent. She was buttoning her shirt as she walked. Tell me, what did you two do? Qin Haodong said awkwardly, we were just chatting. We didn't do anything. In the middle of the night, a man and a woman were alone in a room, just chatting. Little brother, can I believe you? What I said is true. Qin Haodong felt that his words were a little weak, so he could only briefly tell what had happened. The little beauty laughed and said, I told you that you can't hide it. You can tell whether you like men or women from your eyes. For example, you're looking at me with a little nervousness in your eyes, as if you're afraid that I'll take advantage of you. She kissed Qin Haodong on the cheek and said with a smile, you guessed right. I do want to take advantage of you. Qin Haodong wiped his face helplessly and said, you little girl, if your grandma sees me, I'll be in trouble. The little she-devil said, little brother, if you don't want others to see that you're a fake, I have a way. Qin Haodong asked, what way? It's to become real and cut it. The little she-devil stretched out 2 fingers and made a clicking gesture. You little girl, before Qin Haodong could get angry, the little she-devil simulated cutting with her scissors and then ran out, leaving a string of silver bell-like laughter. Qin Haodong didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This little girl was really magical and could do anything. Just as he was about to sleep, another sweet voice sounded outside the tent, Brother Qin, can I come in? Qin Haodong was speechless. What was going on tonight? Beautiful women came to the tent one after another. At this time, standing outside the tent was the woman in black who had been saved today. Come in. Anyway, 2 beautiful women had been here, so one more wouldn't make a difference. But this time, Qin Haodong sat cross-legged. The woman in black also entered the tent and they sat facing each other. The tent was not too big. Qin Haodong could see the woman's appearance clearly when they sat together. This woman was not as beautiful as Yun Qianqian, not as cold as Fang Qiumer, and not as noble as Zhao Xingyue, but she had a kind of elegant and refined temperament, looking gentle and moving. What's the matter? Qin Haodong asked. Brother Qin, my name is Zhong Xiaodai. I'm here to thank you. If you hadn't saved me today, I would have been caught by those damn ghost slaves. The consequences would have been unimaginable. Qin Haodong said, I saw injustice and pulled out my sword to help. The Ghost King sect is the enemy of all of us. You don't have to worry about it. Anyway, I want to thank you. You not only saved me but also cured my injury. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid I would have become a useless person now. Zhong Xiaodai said with gratitude in her eyes, Brother Qin, your medical skills are really great. I was so seriously injured that I thought I was going to die. Qin Haodong smiled and stopped being polite. He asked, how's your recovery? Zhong Xiaodai said, Brother Qin, I'm all cured now. Qin Haodong asked, by the way, where are you going? How did you meet the ghost slaves today? Speaking of this, Zhong Xiaodie's face showed a trace of sadness and said, my brother and I are both cultivators of the Black Tortoise Kingdom. We came here for the appearance of the 7th stage pagoda and wanted to obtain some opportunities from it. But I didn't expect to meet the ghost slaves on the way. In order to protect me, my brother died in the hands of the Ghost King's sect and I was seriously injured. Fortunately, I met you later. The dead can't come back to life. My condolences. Qin Haodong said, what's your next plan? Speaking of this, he remembered that because he was too busy before, he didn't ask for Zhong Xiaodie's opinion and directly brought her here. I still want to enter the 7th stage pagoda to improve my cultivation and avenge my brother. Speaking of this, she looked at Qin Haodong earnestly and said, I heard a few sisters chatting before that you are also going to the 7th stage pagoda. Can you take me with you? Qin Haodong felt that this girl was very pitiful and said, yes, as long as you are willing to come with us. Thank you, Brother Qin. It's getting late. I won't disturb your rest. I'll go back first. Zhong Xiaodai looked at Qin Haodong gratefully again and then left the tent. The next day, everyone continued on their way. When it was almost evening, a rolling mountain range appeared in front of everyone. Tu Jiaojiao ran to Qin Haodong's side and pointed in front of them. We will reach Stupa Mountain in half a day. The little she-devil said, little brother, let's rest here for a while before leaving. Anyway, we still have time. Okay, let's have a good rest tonight and adjust our condition. We will go to Stupa Mountain tomorrow. Qin Haodong saw a big river in the distance. He pointed there and said, let's camp by the river. Chapter 9-10. After the battle with Ghost Slave, everyone had gotten used to listening to his commands and rushed to the river together. At this moment, several black spots quickly appeared in the distant sky and sped toward them. Tu Jiaojiao shouted, it seems to be Yuan Jian. Qin Haodong's eyesight was far better than that of ordinary people. He had already seen that the people who were running toward them were indeed Yuan Jian. There were also several students from the South Campus following him, but they were all in a mess at this time. Feng Qionghe said, why are they in such a mess? What's chasing them? The little demon girl said with a smile, it's the three-headed Cerberus. So many of them appeared at once. This guy is so arrogant that even dogs hate him. Yuan Jian was furious at this moment. When he rushed to Stupa Mountain, he suddenly encountered a three-headed Cerberus. As an expert at the late stage of Void Refinement Realm, he certainly did not take a 6th-grade magical beast seriously and killed it casually. However, he did not expect that the three-headed Cerberus would let out a scream before it died, which attracted more than 23-headed Cerberus. He could deal with one 6th-grade magical beast, but he could not resist so many of them at once. He could only flee in a mess. However, these three-headed Cerberus seemed to have no intention of letting them go. They chased after them and were getting closer and closer. When Qin Haodong and the others found Yuan Jian also saw them. His eyes immediately lit up and he flew over with his people. The little demon girl said angrily, little brother, this heartless guy deserves to be bitten by the dogs. Let's leave him alone. Tu Jiaojiao said, forget it. Anyway, he is a student of our Black Tortoise Academy. We can't just leave him to die. Qin Haodong nodded. Although this guy was hateful, he could not just watch him be bitten to death by the dogs. Get ready, everyone. We'll kill these three-headed Cerberus together. The little demon girl pouted unhappily, but she had never opposed Qin Haodong's decision. Help! Hurry up and help kill these beasts. At this time, a three-headed Cerberus tore a hole on Yuanjian's butt. Although it did not hurt his flesh, his clothes were torn and he looked even more embarrassed. Everyone, let's go. Qin Haodong dodged Yuanjian. With a flash of golden light in his hand, the Xianyuan sword chopped off the head of a three-headed hellhound that followed him. The three-headed Cerberus was only a level 6 magical beast. Its cultivation level was about the same as everyone else's, so it had the advantage in numbers. But now that they met Qin Haodong and the others, this advantage suddenly disappeared. Moreover, the startling sword and the Xianyuan sword were both incredibly sharp god artifacts. Thus, the Cerberi were completely defenseless against them. In just the blink of an eye, over 20 Cerberi had been killed. The little she-devil circled around Yuanjian with a teasing look. Is this a new style? Why don't you look pretty at all? Yuanjian was so angry that his face turned livid, but he had nothing to say. Just now, he had indeed been badly bitten by the Cerberus. The little witch had no intention of letting him go just like that. She continued, "Oh right, great master, I remember that you said before you left that you wouldn't come over to help us no matter what happened here. Why are you asking for help now?" When Yuanjian left, he just said some harsh words. He didn't expect that they would respond so quickly. However, if they hadn't met Qin Haodong and the others today, they might have really become the food of the Cerberus. Like the others, Qin Haodong watched Yuanjian leave with a smile. At this moment, he suddenly felt the spirit beast bag tremble. The three-legged golden toad moved. Qin Haodong moved his mind and released the three-legged golden toad. After eating the dragon scale python last time, this guy's body seemed to have changed again. Its head became a little bigger than before, but its buttocks became a little smaller. The golden pattern on its head became thicker. After the three-legged golden toad came out, it immediately let out a cheerful cry and instantly fell to the ground. Then, it stretched out its big tongue and instantly rolled the corpse of a Cerberus into its mouth. Its appearance immediately attracted the little she-devil's attention. She came over and asked Qin Haodong, "Little brother, is this your spiritual beast?" "Yes, it's my spiritual beast, the three-legged golden toad, but its level is not high. It's only a 5th-rank spiritual beast. In the soul formation stage, the three-legged golden toad could bring him a lot of help, but now its level was a little too low. Because of this, he didn't use the three-legged golden toad when fighting with the ghost slave. At this time, the three-legged golden toad seemed to have been hungry for a long time. Its big tongue stretched out and kept swallowing the Cerberus into its mouth. Moreover, this guy ate very fast. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 Cerberus were all in its stomach. The strangest thing was that after eating so much, its stomach didn't show any signs of bulging. Instead, it licked its tongue, as if it wanted more. Qin Haodong felt quite strange. What is this guy? Where did so much food go? The little she-devil looked at the three-legged golden toad and said, "Little brother, can I see it up close?" "Of course." Qin Haodong gave an order to the three-legged golden toad not to attack the little she-devil. Then the two of them also fell from the sky. The little she-devil stroked the body of the three-legged golden toad and looked at the golden stripes on its head. Then she said with a shocked face, "Little brother, where did you get your spiritual beast?" Qin Haodong said, "I got it by chance." "What's wrong? Is there anything special about it?" To be honest, he didn't know what the three-legged golden toad was. The little she-devil was a summoner, so she might know a little more. Sure enough, the little she-devil said, "I have studied all kinds of magical beasts. Your spiritual beast is definitely not ordinary. It seems to have the dragon bloodline of Taotai." "The dragon bloodline of Taotai? That's impossible, isn't it?" Qin Haodong naturally knew the name of Taotai. It was said that the dragon had 9 sons, and Tao Tai was the youngest one with the authentic dragon bloodline. The little she-devil looked at the 3-legged golden toad again and finally said with great certainty, "I'm not wrong. It does have the bloodline of Tao Tai, so it can eat so much. And did you notice that this 3-legged golden toad has no anus at all, which is in line with the characteristics of Tao Tai, who only eats and does not poop?" After listening to her, Qin Haodong noticed that the 3-legged golden toad was indeed different from other frogs. There was an extra leg where the anus should have been, so it did not have an anus. The little she-devil said again, "If I'm not wrong, when you first got the 3-legged golden toad, it shouldn't be at this level now, right?" Qin Haodong said, "You're right. At first, it was only a 4th-grade magical beast, but now it has advanced to the 5th grade. That's more proof that it has the bloodline of the dragon race." The little she-devil said, "I've read a lot of books about magical beasts. A magical beast is doomed from birth, and it can only be improved by special opportunities. And your spiritual beast can devour other magical beasts to improve its own level. This is the characteristic of the dragon bloodline." While they were chatting just now, the 3-legged golden toad, which had eaten more than 20 3-headed hellhounds, suddenly had an imposing manner, and there was another golden stripe on its forehead. It had reached the level of a 6th-grade magical beast. The little she-devil said, "See, little brother. It has advanced again. With the characteristics of its dragon bloodline, it has super strong defense and attack power, and it can absolutely crush all magical beasts of the same level." Qin Haodong didn't expect that a random spiritual beast he picked up would have the bloodline of the dragon race. Naturally, he was overjoyed and asked, "Is there a limit to its level? What level can it reach in the end? 7th grade or 8th grade?" The little she-devil said, "According to the ancient records, the dragon race is a 9th-grade magical beast, so your 3-legged golden toad can reach the 9th grade at most." "That's great." Qin Haodong was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth. If the 3-legged golden toad could keep advancing, it would definitely be a powerful assistant for him, and it would be absolutely loyal, so he didn't have to worry about betrayal. After putting the 3-legged golden toad into the spirit beast bag, he thought of the scene of Yuan Jian being attacked just now, and asked the little she-devil, "I saw you summon the 3-headed hellhound. How can there be such a creature in the Lingwu continent?" The little she-devil said, "There was no 3-headed hellhound in the Lingwu continent. These things should have been summoned from a different space by a summoner." Qin Haodong asked, "Can a summoner summon a creature from a different space without sending it back?" "It's a bit complicated. You have to understand the essence of a summoner." The little she-devil said, "When a summoner opens the gate of summoning, he establishes a simple master-servant contract with the summoned creature. That is to say, when it accepts the summoner's summon, the magical beast recognizes the summoner as its master and obeys all his orders. However, this kind of contract is not without a price. From the moment the magical beast appears, it begins to consume the summoner's mental strength. In theory, a summoner can keep the magical beast in this world, but the premise is that you have enough mental strength. However, this is obviously unrealistic. I have a Holy Spirit physique, but I can only keep the magical beast in this world for half a day at most. Other ordinary summoners can do it for an hour." Qin Haodong still didn't quite understand and asked, "What's the matter with these 3-headed hellhounds?" The little she-devil said, "Apart from being sent to the memory space, there are 2 ways to terminate the contract with the summoner when summoned. The first is the death of the magical beast, and the second is the death of the summoner. A summoner is not invincible. Sometimes a magical beast is summoned from a different space, but it is killed by the enemy. In that case, the magical beast naturally can't be sent back, so it stays in this world to reproduce. That's how the 3-headed hellhound came to be." "Oh." Qin Haodong nodded and understood what the little she-devil meant. These 3-headed hellhounds belonged to the invasion of creatures from a different space. Suddenly, he thought of something and asked, "If the magical beast you summoned is killed, will it hurt you?" The little she-devil shook her head. No harm, but after the magical beast is killed, it can't be summoned again for a short time, which will give the summoner's enemy an opportunity. After hearing this answer, Qin Haodong immediately became excited. Do you think this method will work? You can open the living gate and summon creatures from a different space to feed the three-legged golden toad. With its characteristics, as long as it eats enough high-level magical beasts, it can advance quickly. The little she-devil thought for a moment and said, this method can work, but low-level magical beasts won't be of much help to the three-legged golden toad's advancement, but if you summon high-level magical beasts, I'm afraid it won't be able to cope. I can help kill high-level magical beasts. Do you think this method will work? The little she-devil nodded and said, yes. That's great. Let's do this after dinner, but keep it a secret and don't let others know. Qin Haodong was very excited. As long as the three-legged golden toad could advance to a 7th-level magical beast, it would be equivalent to having an extra bodyguard at the form synthesis stage. At that time, he wouldn't have to take the explosive yuan pill as much as possible. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.